Hello and welcome to Trial TV Live. I am the Squeegee of Justice. Thank you so much for joining us today as we are continuing our coverage of Mississippi versus Jeffrey Spence. We are in day 3 of the trial, and just want to start us off by welcoming... hold on. All right, I wanted to congratulate our newest mod, Green-Eyed Cat. So I know you guys have been congratulating and saying woohoo. So just want that to continue. Want to officially acknowledge Green-Eyed Cat as our newest mod. Ruth and Nan R saying hello, hello. Good to see you. Nomad, of course. No, I was going through everything and I had to. I will never forget about you. Don't worry. McCormick family, good to see you. JRN, listening to Caitlin's testimony from yesterday. Can you wait until I'm finished? Let's see, who else? Everybody's coming in. Kathy Davis, good to see you. Richard in the kitchen. Yes, Wang Jangle. Woke, you're going to be flipping between trial and Ryder Cup, lurking and making sarcastic comments for levity within the chat. Hey, Tim, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Dwayne, good to see you. Thank you for being with us on hopefully a good Friday for everybody. Hope everybody's having a good Friday. Virtuous, happy morning to you as well. All right. Hey, Carla. Chat's flying so fast I can't even get it. Good morning to you. And Deb saying hello, hello. Skybell, it's Skybell coming. Shirley Roth, good to see you. Kay Davidson. I don't see Skybell. Oh, there you are, Skybell. It's going to be spicy hot again. Yes. Mary, good morning. Hope you all have a great day. You as well. Iowa, let's see. Harden girls to see their dad hooked up, yeah, twice. Oh my goodness, Iowa. You know we're thinking about you and sending you all kinds of whatever we can send you through our thoughts, prayers, healing vibes, all of that. So I hope that works out. Just stay strong and know that we are here for you. Hey, Ann, good morning to you. Steph, is the wife testifying today? That's a great question. We have not heard about that yet. We heard Caitlin, we heard daughter was going to, and she did testify. And that testimony, well, the cross was spicy. Don't know about Karen. Not sure about her. Haven't heard her name put out there yet. Part of the duties is cleaning. Yeah, no. That's pretty funny, though. Cajun Bayou Queen, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Gretchen saying hello, howdy, and hi. Green-eyed cat. Yeah, no. You don't have to do that. Regina, good morning to you. All right, let's pop on over here because, it's a little... It was convoluted at the beginning, but I'm kind of wrapping my head around it, right? So, Kirby Carpenter shot in the neck, chest area. Probably died pretty quickly. November 30th, he's found by his girlfriend / mother of their child, Caitlin, a couple days later. Parents left. So, Caitlin has a baby, Enola. Parents come down from Virginia. It's about an 8-hour drive, 400 miles or so. And they're there for about 4 months, right? Then they leave on the 29th. They leave the 29th around 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And then Caitlin goes to work. She has to drive to Memphis for some meeting. On the 30th, Kirby's apparently sleeping. She has to leave around 5:30. He's sleeping. She does her thing, gets back into Boonville area, is texting with him, goes to Walmart. She's seen on their parking lot video. We haven't seen her coming or going into Walmart. I would love to see that, because she's seen her car, her truck or SUV, whatever is seen, her van, I guess, is seen in the parking lot. But I don't think we actually see her. But she apparently was breastfeeding Enola. She's there until about 7. She gets home, no Kirby. Lights are off, no Kirby. Next day, no Kirby. So she starts to call Kirby's mom, I think his sister. They're trying to figure out where's Kirby. Finally, December 2nd, she walks up the hill, and she's kind of up at the top, and she says she could see the entire property, and she sees Kirby because he had been dragged from somewhere, apparently by his truck or so, because he went shopping at Kroger's. There were still groceries in his truck. Some lamb chops, we found out, 4 lamb chops. So he had been dragged to behind this little shed that just has a covering. And it seemed like it from the truck to the shed, behind the shed, is maybe 20 feet. It's really close. Yeah, maybe, like 20 feet or so. And he was covered with like a tarp or a curtain, and a big toolbox was put on top of him. I thought when they said a toolbox, I thought they meant like, like a toolbox, This thing was huge. It wasn't like, it was like a mammoth toolbox. So then, of course, she calls law enforcement. Oh, she's on the phone. She's on the phone with Kirby's mom, too. So she calls 911, and then it takes off from there. All right, so I'm going to get us over here, see if we have all right, we do have a feed. Let me get us in. Let's get us into the court. All right, so day 3 continues. TLC, good morning and happy Friday to you. G. Stewie, good to see you. Allie B, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Life's a Bit, good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Ellen, happy Friday to you. Megan, good to see you. Good morning to you. Miss M, thank you for joining us. And Mike, always good to see you. I know I said hello to you on the chat, but I don't know if I said hello to you here, so good to see you. Nicola, good to see you. Hey Mary, thank you for joining us. Kathy, I'm kind of thinking Kirby caught them robbing him and finished packing. They shot him and finished packing trucks. Stewie, G. Stewie, are we thinking Caitlin did it? What does everyone think? Well, right now, personally, I don't think. I have a lot of doubt. Because right now it's all hung up on Caitlin's testimony and how credible is she. It boils down to, if you think she's credible, that's really so far the only thing pinning Jeffrey to this, because she says that he came back from Virginia with some pills to sell or to give to Kirby so that he could sell those, and then Jeffrey said it was a drug deal gone bad. So again, this is all boiling down to her testimony. We still haven't seen any cell phone data. We had one of the investigators talked about it, that he extracted the cell phone. He extracted data from the cell phone, but we haven't had an expert saying, okay, this is where he was at such and such a time. So the evidence that they have so far is there was a shotgun found wrapped up in a Tommy Hilfiger jacket underneath their rental Airbnb in Virginia. They did have a bunch of Kirby's items, but as Cross came up yesterday, those items, were those actually Kirby's or not? Jeffrey and Karen could have gotten those from anywhere. They're just kind of common commercial items. So do they actually tie back to Kirby? Don't know that yet. or at least it didn't seem like it was significantly tied back to Kirby. Can't test the pellets or the shotgun because you can't test that. So they can't tie the shotgun back to. Oh, there was some soil on the barrel of the gun, of the weapon. So did they test that soil? Yes, they tried to, but the FBI tested it. There wasn't enough of a sample for them to say, yes, definitely that was the same soil that was found on Kirby's pants, by his hip. So right now, to me, the only really credible evidence is Caitlin's testimony. So if you believe Caitlin, then I still don't get the DP. I don't see. Oh, you know what? That was sent to us. Oh yeah, hold on. Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot who sent that to us. Hold on. Somebody in chat sent this yesterday, and I'm sorry if I totally forgot who sent this, but this is the Mississippi Code for the DP, aggravating factors. All right. Because I don't see this rising to DP. Because it has to be like heinous, it has to be like these aggravating factors have to be so terrible, just like in Jose Soto Escalara. You've got him taking out Tanya, but then 8.5 months pregnant. That's what kicked it up to really, I think, for a lot of people. Instead of life without parole, I think that's why he got the DP. All right. Okay, here we go. Aggravating circumstances. Convicted of another capital offense or a felony involving the use or threat of violence. Defendant knowingly created a great risk to many persons. No. While the defendant was engaged, accomplice, commissioner, attempt to commit any robbery, assault, arson, burglary, kidnapping, aircraft piracy, SA, unnatural with a child, non-consensual, felonious battery of a child. Yeah, so it was committed for punctionary gain or pecuniary gain. What the heck is that? I don't even know what that is. What the heck is that? That's a new word on me. Related to or consisting of money. Pecuniary. Wow, that's a new one on me. Pecuniary gain, so basically financial gain. Disrupt or hinder a lawful exercise of governmental function. No, he didn't do any of this. Committed to avoid a lawful arrest. Especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel. No, not really. Intimidate, coerce a civilian population. No. Influence the policy of a government entity or intimidation. No. Yeah, I honestly don't see this rising to DP. I just don't see that right now. TLC, at the end of yesterday, there was a text from the mom saying they were going to have hamburgers. Yes, meaning the mom and dad. Correct. And then the attorney said he can't be in Mississippi and Virginia. Yes. Mom writes back, Dad and I are eating hamburgers in a few minutes. He just got back from a good nap. He worked hard all day. So she texts on November 30th at 8 p.m., what are you eating for dinner? Mom writes back at 8:04, Dad and I are eating hamburgers in a few minutes. He just got back from a good nap. He worked hard all day. That doesn't show or prove that Dad was there. That to me doesn't prove anything, in my opinion. Mom could have been covering for him. Mom could have come down with him. He could still have been. Mom could have been at home and lying. I mean, there's all kinds of things that doesn't really prove much. Hey, Amy. Good morning to you. Gee, Stu, are we thinking the text was fake? Yeah. Why not? I mean, it could be. It could have been. She could have been. She could have. Yeah. She totally could have lied. Fiduciary gain, yes, but this is PECUNIARY. 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 I'm guessing. Pecuniary. Relating to or consisting of money. Why don't they just say financial gain? Why do they have, what's pecuniary? I've never heard that word before. G. Stu, yeah, it definitely could be. Let's see. Hey, Moki, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. TLC, but if the text was planted, the stories don't add up. Lisa, code texting she was covering for Dad. Kay Davidson, we need to see the phone records. Totally agree. Hey, Chris, I'm on the fence with this. Yeah. I'm not even sure he's guilty of the crime just in general. But to raise it up to DP, I'm not seeing it right now. I don't see that he met any of these Mississippi code. I just do not see it. At least right now. Alice, thank you so much for your $10. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you being in our chat. Let's see. Big fancy lawyer talk. Yeah, say that 3 times fast. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Mary. I was confused. I was confuseded. Megan, yeah, this is a DP case. They're looking for the. I just do not get it. Money so can go Walmart and get cat stuff. Exactly. Richard wants cheese strata. I'm telling you, man, it is good. We usually make 3, so 6 pieces of bread, Richard. So you make 3, and then you have leftovers, and it's really good leftovers as well. You can eat it cold. Cut it up, heat it up. It's really good, really good. Kathleen, good morning to you. Moki, I don't even understand what the Muhammad daughter pled guilty to. All right, I can tell you. I can give you the answer to that, Moki. So mom was larceny, so she took a deal. She was facing 10 years, and she got 5 years probation. So she got for larceny, and that was in September. So now Caitlin did accessory after the fact. So her sentencing is still to come, as we heard yesterday. So she's still to come. So in April of 2015, she pled guilty to accessory after the fact. And then mom was accessory. She took an Alford plea, which basically says that the state had enough evidence to convict her. So she took it without actually pleading guilty, but she acknowledged that they had enough evidence on her. So it's accessory after the fact to grand larceny. So she was sentenced to 10 years, but it was fully suspended. So now she's 5 years unsupervised probation, which means she can't leave Mississippi without approval. She cannot do drugs or alcohol. She must comply to all probation requirements. So for mom, it was more for stealing. For mom / Karen, it was more for stealing Kirby stuff, and for Caitlin, it's more for the shooting. So I hope that helps you. JMS, it's DP case because Kirby was shot in cold blood. If it was a robbery, they could have robbed him without killing.
Trouble with the court's instruction not to talk about the case, investigate the case, not watch any news program or anything about the case. If you have any problems in that regard, let me know. I've noticed juries is a whole lot like church. I don't guess nobody assigns seats in church, but I sit in the same place every Sunday, and y'all do too anyway. You got just your home there, but if everybody's ready, who would state call as the next witness?
Your Honor, can we approach just for 1 second?
All right.
Lazy boys, yeah, it reminds me of Raoul Valley. Yep, state overcharged. I think so too. I think they may have overcharged. They may have overreached on this one. Megan, someone tell me, have we seen a case super similar to this? It sounds so familiar. In what regard? In what regard? Overcharging or... Lisa, Mom got off pretty much. She knew for a year and a half that her dad did this. Really now you have testify against your dad. So Mom got off. Oh, I mean Caitlin. She knew for a year and a half her dad. Yeah. Does not make sense. Yeah, 16 months, right? It was all of 2023 and then up to April of 2024. No, wait a minute. Yeah. Then she took the plea.
I thought we were ready.
We're not ready.
Okay, y'all get ready. All right, who would the state call up next to witness?
John, the statement is called Carolyn Aguayo.
Carolyn Aguayo. Come around, face the court reporter, and be sworn in, please.
Raise your right
And see if that mic's on.
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, ma'am.
And if you can speak as close into that microphone as possible. All right. I'm hoping that buzz will leave. I think it is this. All right. Can you tell the jury who you are?
I'm Carolyn Aguayo. I'm Jeff Spence's daughter.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you where you live, and there's a reason for that. Mm-hmm. Can you tell the jury why you don't want to tell the world where you live?
I've come here to help stop what has been going on for decades. But I have requested that where I live, how many children I have, any of that is not mentioned. I have moved several times. Sorry, I've got a little allergy stuff going on. I've moved several times. Once you leave a criminal family, you watch your back all the time. You move if you need to move. You protect in whatever way you need to protect. No social media, things like that. You are guarded. Once you realize that you've done something wrong to the family, you've betrayed the family, you have not been loyal the way you've been raised, you're...
I want to enter an objection to whatever it is that this witness is referring to. There's nothing that has been ever substantiated about what she said. Nothing.
I would ask that you reply to...
It's narrative.
Don't give a narrative. Reply to questions and answers so that we can have a timely objection.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Was it always that way?
No, not at all.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Brookfield, Pennsylvania, a little farm outside of Brookfield, Pennsylvania.
Okay. And who is your father?
Jeff Spence.
Who is your mother?
Karen Spence.
And do you have any siblings?
I have one older sister, Caitlin Spence.
Okay. Now, I believe y'all are fairly close in age. Is that
Yes,
correct?
we're a year apart. She's 1 year older than me.
If I'm remembering correctly, Caitlin was born in 86? Or was that?
Yes, Caitlin was born in 86.
And you were born?
The next year.
Okay. Now, normal childhood, soccer, school. Where'd you go to college?
I mean, normal childhood might be a little off, but I mean, as far as I've been in, dealing with this sort of thing even since I was growing up, as far as, game commissions that had to come to our house.
Sorry. I didn't hear that. Please.
I wouldn't exactly describe my childhood as a normal childhood. Having game commissioners come to the house, having my dad cited for bad business practices.
Yes, please. Everything that's coming out of this young woman's mouth is just, it's trash, Judge. Nothing substantiated, it's all just trash.
Where did you go to college?
Grove City College in Pennsylvania.
And did you finish college?
I did. I double majored in early childhood and elementary education.
All right. After you got your degree, did you get a job in that field?
I did. I've taught for several years.
Okay. Where was that?
So after I graduated college, I went to New Zealand for a short period of time just to see how they did early childhood there. My professors always raved about the early childhood programs there, so I did a little time in New Zealand, but then when I came back, I moved right away to North Carolina. I didn't want to be any part of...
We object to relevance of what goes on in New Zealand doesn't have anything to do with this.
It's just background.
I'm going to let that go. Go ahead.
All right, so you moved to North Carolina?
I moved to North Carolina. I didn't want to be in Pennsylvania. Didn't want to be near any of it.
Understood. Where in North Carolina did you move?
I moved to, I first went down to Wilmington, North Carolina, and then I got a job a little further south, so it's a little area called Oak Island. So I taught in a school there near Oak Island.
All right. Are you married?
Yes.
When did you get married?
2014.
And who did you marry?
Giovanni Awayo.
When did you marry Giovanni Awayo?
June of 2014.
Did y'all live on Oak Island, North Carolina together?
Yes.
And what did he do? At that time, what was he doing, employment-wise?
At that time, he was a Marine.
Marine? Now then, did Jeff and Karen, your mother and father, move in with y'all?
Yes, so we got married in June 2014. My parents had talked about wanting to move, with us settling down, and they moved in with us in about August of 2014. They were gonna look for a place down there.
All right, so they move in with you. Did you have a conversation with Giovanni about that decision for them to move in with y'all?
Object to that conversation, Judge.
I'm not asking for the conversation. I'm just asking if they had a conversation.
I'll allow that.
Yes, Gio has a very big heart.
Don't tell me what he said. Did y'all have a conversation about your mother and father moving in with y'all, being newly married?
Yes, we were.
Okay.
They were going through bankruptcy, so we felt like we could help them out.
Right. Okay. So your father was going through bankruptcy, having money problems, and y'all wanted to help him out. Is that correct?
He had to file for bankruptcy. He had a case with Jim Riddle where he had embezzled $100,000 from his business partner.
We object. anything that's coming from this witness that's not substantiated.
I'll sustain that objection and ask the jury to disregard anything that they heard about that anyway.
Okay. Don't add to the question.
Okay, sorry.
Ask the question. Answer the questions asked and stop there.
All right. So if I understand correctly, you've testified that you wanted your mother and father to move in because they were having financial trouble in August of 2014.
Yes.
Okay. Now, how long did they stay with y'all?
They ended up staying 2 years.
All right. And during that period of time, did yourself and your husband help them get on their feet financially?
Yes, they weren't paying rent. We had given them one of our cars and the insurance on the cars. We did groceries. We were trying to help them get back on their feet, trying to help them recover and kind of have a fresh start. And again, we were just trying to help them.
Was your mother ever employed during that period of time?
No.
Okay. Did your father ever have any meaningful employment during that period of time?
He did not have a job. He had started or tried to start a vegetable farm with a gentleman down there.
All right. So he tried to start a vegetable farm.
Yes.
And did he talk to anybody about investing in that?
He had an investor that invested $20,000 in starting it.
Okay. Do you know anything about whether that investor was able to realize any kind of return on that investment?
He had
Hold on,
to take
before
it.
you answer, I think there will be an objection.
Same objection we had before. Talking about stuff, we have no substantiation of it.
I'll sustain the objection.
All right. Don't talk about the investor anymore. Pursuant to the ruling of the court. All right. Now, at some point, did yourself and Gio decide to move to Virginia?
Yes. Gio got a job in Virginia.
All right. Was it with the Marines?
No, he'd gotten out of the Marines.
Okay. You can tell the jury what his new employment, new career was going to be.
Okay. He was going to be working for the federal government in a very similar capacity for what he had did with the Marines, but he was going to be on the civil side now. He served his years in the Marines, and now he had the opportunity to do security policing with the federal government.
All right, so did you buy property and a home in Virginia?
When we first moved there, we rented, but then we did buy a cabin in Virginia.
Okay, where in Virginia?
Orange, Virginia.
Okay.
Charlottesville area.
All right. And is that the property that y'all bought, is that where you and Giovanni were planning to build a cabin kit for your mother and father?
So, as you can imagine, we lived with them for a while. Everybody was kind of ready for their own space. But we, again, we wanted to make sure they were on good footing. And we offered to, we had 10 acres with the cabin, so we offered to separate off a little land and do like a simple, like less than $100,000 cabin type kit, kind of a little mother-in-law suite type thing, with just having them have their own house though, but just down the lane. The idea was Grandma and Grandpa would be down the lane.
Who's going to pay for that kit?
Well, with them being in bankruptcy, we were gonna, the agreement was that we would get the loan, but they would have to make the mortgage payments.
Judge and asked you to instruct the jury to stop tell Mrs. Lyon to stop talking about bankruptcy. There's nothing in this case about bankruptcy. There's no substantiation.
I'll give it the state.
Your Honor, I think it's already been established that he was in bankruptcy as the reason that he moved in with Jeff and Gio.
I think the defendant's financial situations is relevant in this case anyway. I'm going to allow it.
There's been no substantiation of any bankruptcy ever of this man, except what's just now come out of this witness.
You can look on the federal PACER system.
I think that this is a daughter. I think she has knowledge of it. I'm going to allow the testimony.
Okay, so we were talking about the yourself and your husband putting the money up for the kit to build a mother-in-law, father-in-law house on your property. With that loan from the bank, certain requirements about construction, were there building codes that had to be followed, things of that nature?
Yes, so in the build, you have to do one step at a time. You have to do it correctly. Everything's got to be insured. All the contractors have to be okayed. Everything has to be a certain way for you to get the next amount of money from the loan to be released. So if you do the first step wrong, like you're already in trouble as far as being able to finish the house.
To be able to go to the next phase and prove that everything was done by code.
Correct.
All right. Did your father interfere with that?
Yes, so he wanted to kind of, make himself the general contractor, if you will, of the project. Well, you have a full-time job, Gio has a full-time job, I'll help out in this way. The problem that we ran into was paperwork. It was all word of mouth, well, so-and-so didn't call me back, or I got this bid, and we said, well, where's the bid? There was nothing on paper, and that wasn't going to be working because we had to turn everything into the bank again in order to move on with the next step. So there started to be arguments where we're like, hey, we've been clear, somebody has to write us up. If we're going to get a well driller, we have to have a contract. We have to have his license number and know that he's insured, and we have to have all of that in order to turn that in to the bank, and then they okay it, that we can move forward with digging a well for the house. So that was the sort of thing that started where we started arguing over things, and we're getting upset at each other because Gio and I were trying to go by the book, and he was trying to just, well, this will work. This guy's been in the town for 30 years, and he's done this before.
All right, and let's just put a pause on that line of questioning for right now. Can you tell the jury, when y'all were home, did y'all watch TV together?
Yeah, we, initially, again, we didn't know that, other things were going on. We thought we were doing the right thing. We thought we were helping. We would watch a lot of movies together.
What kind of TV programs did your father enjoy watching?
We watched things like Breaking Bad, Blacklist. We watched.
Is this relevant? Soon to be. Soon to be relevant.
Okay. So we would watch a lot of movies, and that Jeff always likes to dialogue. So one of the things, initially that kind of perked me up to like this is odd. We were watching a movie, and he said, oh well, if I was ever going to have to kill someone, I'd use a shotgun, and that's because you wouldn't have to worry about the casing.
Who said that?
My dad.
Okay.
Oh, this is great. This is worth the price of admission right here. Again, you just never know what you're going to get in these cases, and holy smokes. So second daughter, youngest daughter is on, and now it's going to be the two daughters against the dad as he scribbles furiously. He's writing furiously. I'll do a full recap, a full recap after this, but holy smokes. Woo!
Jeff Spence.
Your father?
My dad.
Yes.
And Cross is going to tear her apart. You know that. Cross is going to be like, you're bitter, you've got a grudge, you've got, this is all about revenge on your dad. You grew up in this situation. She has a chip on her shoulder, so just wait for Cross. He's our country gentleman is probably going to show some fangs. The squeegee recrap. All right, stop it. Yeah. Our sweet country gentleman there is going to show some fangs, I'm sure, on his cross. Did they watch Ozarks too? Right? Wow. Okay, so Carolyn Aquio, she came here to stop what has been going on for decades. Whew. She's moved several times, has asked not to have her address or her personal life really. Her current personal life aired. She says, once you leave a criminal family, you watch your back. Man, objection. It wasn't always that way. She grew up in Pennsylvania. She was born in 87. Normal childhood might be a little off. Dealing with, since she was growing up, gaming commissions coming to her house. Remember, he was busted for stealing a white-tailed deer. Stealing a white-tailed deer. I mean, who does that? What kind of man is this? Not a normal childhood. Dad cited for bad business practices. Objection. Everything coming out of her mouth is trash. So she went to Grove City. It's funny, I know Grove City. Growing up in Ohio. She went to New Zealand. So she got an early childhood degree. So she went to New Zealand to see how they did early childhood there. Apparently they do early childhood really good and very well in New Zealand, among other things. I would love to live in New Zealand. Go see some hobbits. She moved to North Carolina. She didn't want to be part of objection. She didn't want to be anywhere near it. She married.
Now, when families sit down and watch TV shows together, do they normally take notes about what's going on?
No, I mean...
Did your father do that?
So, normally people would just watch a show like that for entertainment, but Jeff learns from them.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Jeff learns from them.
How do you know that? Do you
Because
have...
he discusses everything. Like, even with himself, he'll have long conversations. He'll practice things. That's something I even saw in my childhood. He'd have an argument with a business partner, and he'd be pacing the floor that night.
And relaying it to some program?
Again, with something like Breaking Bad, like most people would watch that and be terrified. Like, that's not normal life for most people. That's not something like, oh, hey, that was a good idea.
When he said that about using a shotgun, did he say anything about the projectile or the shell casing?
Yeah, the whole idea with a shotgun is it's harder to trace.
No, specifically, did he say anything about the shotgun shells? Do you recall?
Yes, a shotgun shell is huge. I'm sure most of you know that. You're not going to be looking around for little bullet casings, and that's if you have to shoot more than once. If you only, and that was his comment, is, well, if you only have to shoot someone once, the casing doesn't even come out. Now, if you end up having to shoot again, then, at least you're looking for something that big.
Okay. Now then, in general, the condition of the property that you had on the curtilage or the yard around the driveway, that area, I'm not talking about the house or the cabin, talking about the land, how much land did you have?
It was 10 acres, almost entirely wooded.
Okay.
We were back in the woods, and
Did you have a gate around that property?
we had a gate that went into our backyard and back into the woods behind our house.
Okay. Now, did tensions arise between yourself and your father about how he used that yard, that property?
Yeah, so as we were building, as I mentioned, some arguments started about doing things the right way. Jeff has always tried to make money off of little things, like, oh, come pick up this tractor, I'm just trying to get rid of it. And then, so he'd bring that to the land, and then he'd try and sell that. So we started having people coming onto our land, like looking for Jeff, and all the while we're trying to build a house. We didn't want anyone in a construction zone where somebody could get hurt. Then all of a sudden we're getting sued because somebody got hurt that never should have been on the property in the first place. So these are the things that we started worrying about as a young couple, that, hey, we're not protected. I mean, I'm a teacher, he's a police officer. We're not full of cash. If somebody gets hurt, we're in trouble. So those arguments kept happening. And one particular discussion, I was pregnant at the time, so I had gone into the house to use the bathroom, and I came back out came to the window, and I saw that Gio and Jeff were having an argument. They were both talking loud, and I saw Jeff step to Gio, and I could see in his eyes, I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And he stepped back, so he thought better of it.
Relevance. We're talking about an argument from 19 or 20.
Well, this is where my husband was
Hold on 1
threatened.
second. Let them finish.
So
Hold on 1 second.
We've got much of a rambling testimony. That needs to be more
Specific, non-narrative.
It's hard to me to referee a wrestling match and don't know let's try to get specific questions and specific answers.
All right.
I understand.
And if I understand your testimony correctly, you've got a loan for $100,000 or around $100,000 for this cabin kit, correct?
It turned into $178,000 by the time Jeff was done.
And that was being put in jeopardy by Jeff not following the code, cutting corners and that kind of thing?
Right. The ball was already rolling. There was no way of stopping it at that point. We were in it.
In the way we're going to do it, I'm going to ask you a question, yes or no, and then if I need you to explain, I'll ask.
Okay.
If that's okay.
That's fine.
All right. So, in addition to that, did your dad? He just acquired junk. Is that
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Can you briefly tell the jury about that?
It's part of not wanting to work. It's a laziness. You're trying to make money off of nothing.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll sustain the objection.
All right.
Move on.
I'll move on.
okay.
Did that interest that your father have result in a bunch of junk in your yard?
Yes, we had to clean, we had to remove tons. I think it ended up being 3 tons of junk off of our property to clean it off after we got him out.
Okay. Now then, was there a conversation that you, your husband, and your father had where all of this came to a head?
Yes,
Where was that conversation? Where did it take place and when?
McDonald's, he didn't want my mom present.
Okay. What did you explain to your dad about the situation, and what was his response?
We tried another sit down where we said, look, we have to do this a certain way. We have to go by the book, otherwise all of this is going to get messed up. There's no reason to not have a contract on someone.
Okay, so all of these things came to his attention directly by you and Gio. What was his response?
He was angry. He said, well, I guess I can't do it your way. And we kept trying to reiterate, it's not our way, it's the bank's way. We're not trying to be stubborn. There's codes when you build. It's not codes we came up with. Everybody has to build. Even if you put a porch on your house, you have to do it by code.
And at this time, were they living in the house with you?
At this time, they had a basement apartment under a family on the lake, Lake Louisa.
And then, as a result of this confrontation at McDonald's, did you come to any realization with Gio about your father not being who you thought he was?
I saw an anger and a violence in his eyes I had never seen before. And the way he was speaking to Gio, and I saw how angry he was, and that was when he said, I'm done, I'm out. Basically, this mess is yours. And
after that, did y'all install video surveillance around your property?
Yes, we put up cameras. At that point, there was too much animosity. There was too much that was being done behind our backs that at that point we weren't feeling safe.
Did you put up video surveillance around your property?
Yes, cameras.
Okay. After that, was your video surveillance system ever altered or adjusted in any way by anybody other than yourself and your husband?
Yes, the camera cord to our security camera was cut.
How did you know how your camera system was cut and who cut it?
We were in the house. Jeff had been told to get all his stuff off the property because we were done. So he was going into our garage, which is back behind our house. He was going into the garage to get his stuff. He noticed the camera, went behind our shed, cut the camera, and of course we knew he cut the camera because we're in the house, and the camera feed to one of the cameras goes out.
So you saw it with your own eyes, your father cutting the camera feed?
He was behind a shed. Yeah. So he walks behind the shed, the camera feed goes out, Gio goes out to check it, it's been cut.
All right. Now, in and around this time, tell the jury what time frame this is.
This is August of 2018.
Okay. Now, in and around this time, did you have a conversation with your father about life insurance on your husband?
He had, in one of his arguments with Gio, he had told Gio, Karen and I want to pay for $1 million life insurance policy for you. And of course, Gio thought that was odd. He has a job, he has life insurance. So he shared that with me, and I told Gio, I was like, I don't understand what's the thought process before that. He said, well, they mentioned the baby, you have our firstborn, our son was gonna be born in November, and he said, but it was odd. It was during one of our conversations about the house. Like there was no, like my mom wasn't there. I wasn't there. Like, if this was something that was really about the grandbaby, why was this coming up?
And this was during all the tensions?
It never came up until the fighting started.
Now, was there a conversation about a meal ticket? What was that about?
So a meal ticket.
You're messing up my meal ticket.
So with.
And if you know,
I'm not. I'm not recalling a meal ticket comment.
Was he upset that they weren't allowed to get $1 million policy on Gio's life?
He just seemed flustered, like, anytime we didn't agree with him, it was just, oh, well, you all are stupid. So of course he was upset about it. We weren't agreeing with him.
All right. Did you ever take any action because your father was trespassing on your property?
When he cut the camera cord, we called the sheriffs, because at that point I had tried to reason with him. Gio had tried to reason with him. Trust me, we wanted the family relationship to be good. I had tried until I was blue in the face. And at that point I was like, I don't know what else to do other than to get the police involved.
And did you ever find any personal property of you and your husband Gio missing after the security camera was cut?
Yes, so we had, as I mentioned with this house build, Gio and I are careful about paperwork. And we, when we moved into the cabin, the logs, if you're familiar with log cabins, they have to be stained. So we got bids for someone to treat the wood to preserve it for the cabin. And we got these bids, and again, this was a typical thing of my dad's to do. So he said, oh, hey, like, they're going to charge, $30,000 for this. I'll do it for 10. So we're like, well, this is the big project. This is going to be a lot of work. Are you sure? So we just wrote up a little legal note on a legal pad.
Let me stop you there. Did he ever take, or are you aware of any time that your father had taken any property from you or your husband during that period of time?
That paper went missing, okay. But also things like my husband's tools. Like again, Gio in the Marines, police officer, very orderly.
Okay, that's good. No narrative.
Okay.
Mr. Bio can't tie something to Jeff Spence. Just because something comes missing or they misplace it or whatever, doesn't mean that he has done anything wrong.
Unless you can tie it to Mr. Spence, let's move on to that. And yours will
finding it in.
Your will disregard that last comment unless you can tie it to something.
I'm sorry. Did you instruct the jury to do that?
I instructed the jury to disregard that last comment.
Thank you.
After the cutting of the surveillance system around your property and calling the sheriff, did you ever have to call the sheriff again?
A couple days later, he came back on the property, and again, this was on our security camera. He pulls a knife out of his pocket, cuts we put a zip tie on the latch and the gate, so just as extra security. So yes, that was cut, and so we called the police again, because at that point, the sheriff that came 2 days prior.
Let me stop you there. Who cut it?
Jeff Spence.
And entered your property?
Yes.
After having been told not to come back on your property?
Correct.
And how did you know that he cut the strip?
It's on camera.
You had it on camera?
Mm-hmm.
Now then, do you recall the last time that you, and I may be wrong about this, but there was a time when they were leaving in the car and you were trying to talk to your mother?
It's testimony, Judge.
That's not testimony, that's background.
I'm going to see where it goes. Hang on.
Do you recall that situation?
He would call.
Yes or no? Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm really referring to your mother. Mm-hmm. And I want you to tell the jury, was your mother a part of, Did she know what was going on, and how did you know that?
Yes, my mom has always been aware of what's going on, and she has been a driver for him. She was a driver for him when they poisoned the water troughs of a deer farm.
Hold on. No narrative.
Okay, she is always aware.
Okay. Now, you talked about your dad buying and selling junk, for lack of a better word. At times, would he go outside or across state lines during that period of time?
Yes, all the time. Big drives were a thing for him, and my mom would keep us healthy.
I have an objection. Unless she can tie it to some basis of knowledge, she can't just be sitting up here accusing whatever's coming.
Rephrase your question as to lay a foundation as to her knowledge.
Do you know why? How did you know that your father would cross state lines?
One particular time he went to Georgia.
Do you know?
Yes, I know he would cross state lines.
All right.
Yes.
And would he take certain precautions when he did that?
Yeah.
He would.
Let's let him have a basis of knowledge. Let's let a basis of knowledge work.
Thank you, Judge.
Do you know whether he took any precautions when he did that?
He would.
Back up a step before that. There's a basic knowledge that he would leave instead.
He was around us all the time. He was living with us for 2 years.
Did he ever say where he had been
All the time.
and where he got property?
Yes, because if we went a day without seeing him, that was weird.
And did you ever ask him where he got certain property that made its
Yes,
way on
and
your
so
land?
he'd say, oh, I made a run to Georgia,
Okay.
or I went to South Carolina yesterday.
Now, were you aware of any precautions that he took in order to go to Georgia to buy property to bring back and put in your yard?
He'd leave his cell phone with my mom.
Okay.
How would she know that? Objection.
He told me.
Objection.
Lay a foundation, basis of knowledge.
How do you know that he would leave his cell phone with your mother?
Through his own mouth, he would tell me.
Now, back to that. Do you recall the incident with your mother leaving in the car that we were
Yes.
talking about earlier?
Yes.
All right. When was that?
It was shortly after all this was happening, where he had called her to come pick him up.
Okay. Did she come pick him up?
She came. Are you referring to when? So she came to pick him up the first time he was arrested.
I'm talking about the last time you ever saw him.
Judge, I need to.
I've lost track of how many times defense has objected. Probably like literally every other word that comes out of Carolyn's mouth. Objection, 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 objection. And then he's accusing the state of testifying. That's all you do. That's all you do. It's all you do when you're crossing. You just, on cross, he just goes on and on for like 5 minutes. So again, I think his southernly gentleman behavior is going to disappear very quickly when he goes cross on her. Oh, maybe that's a new way. He's going to go cross on her. All right, Dad is furiously writing away. Furiously writing. All right, I'm going to save a full recap for when we get a break. But again, Carolyn, she's got a chip on her shoulder for sure. She's been sitting with this for 20 years. She was born in 87, so by the time she was 10, so since 97 or so, she's kind of been aware of what's been going on. She's got a lot. She's got a lot to say, Miss Carolyn.
I want to clear something up with you. We were talking about two different things. Your mother came to pick him up after you had called the sheriff's department out there because he had trespassed. Is that correct? Do you remember that event?
He had called,
Just yes or no?
yes.
Yes. And when you said when you had him arrested, you're talking about that misdemeanor trespass on your property, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that's clear. Was there a time where you tried to talk to your mother about these things?
Yes.
And what was her response?
Objection, Dr. Hearsay.
It's not.
I don't want to quote from it, just a general attitude for.
Yes. What did she do when you were attempting to try to get her attention?
I walked out to her car because she wasn't getting out of her car, and I said, "Mom, we need to have a conversation about what's happening." And she would not get out of her car. She was talking to me through the window, and she was...
Don't say anything that she said.
Okay.
What did she do?
She got a call from Jeff, and then she peeled out.
Okay. Was that the last meaningful contact you've had with your mother?
She has continued to text, now not in the past couple of years, but she would continue to send texts because we were able to get a no contact on Jeff, but not on her. So I would get little things from her, like heard y'all were in Texas, heard y'all had a baby girl, little plugs to let us know that, hey.
After that last contact with your mother, when y'all were actually in the same place there in Virginia, did you and your family move somewhere else?
Yes. So with what happened with the house, once we were able to finish it, we put it up for sale. It wasn't selling. We ended up having to sell our own home because, again, we couldn't make 2 mortgage payments.
Understood. Did y'all move from that location?
We had to move.
What was the primary reason for you moving?
We moved initially because we had to sell our home, but then we were able to get jobs elsewhere so we could get away from it all.
Okay. Now, court's indulgence. Into the witness room.
Thank you, Jeff. When you and your husband moved to Oak Island, North Carolina, Jeff and Karen lived elsewhere. That's a yes or no?
Yes.
They still lived on the farm in Pennsylvania.
In February of 2014, they got a beach rental in the town where we lived.
You're not answering my question. When you and your husband moved to Oak Island, your mother and father still lived on the farm in Pennsylvania.
That's not correct.
Why is it not correct?
Because they moved to Oak Island. They rented an apartment in February 2014.
I understand they moved to Oak Island. I'm getting there. But when you moved to Oak Island, they didn't live there on Oak Island.
And I hadn't married my husband at that point either, sir. When I moved to Oak Island and I bought a house in Oak Island, Gio wasn't even in the picture yet.
You were single. When you
That's
moved
correct.
to Oak Island, you were single.
That's correct.
And after you moved to Oak Island, let me back up. When you moved to Oak Island, your parents still lived in Pennsylvania.
That's correct.
And when they moved to Oak Island, you weren't married.
That's correct.
And when they moved to Oak Island, it's because you invited them to come.
I didn't stop them from coming.
Well-
I would definitely not phrase it as I invited them to pick up their 30-year life on a farm in Pennsylvania and move to North Carolina.
You not only invited them, ma'am, they lived with you.
My husband wanted to help them, and I didn't want to be.
You weren't married. You just got through telling us when you moved to Oak Island, you were living alone, you were single.
When they moved in with us, we were married at that point.
Okay, so you moved, you asked your parents to move to Oak Island, and your husband agreed.
That's incorrect.
I'm sorry?
That's incorrect, sir.
Your husband did not okay them moving in with him?
They moved in with us in August of 2014. I married my husband in June of 2014. My parents rented a place on Oak Island in February of 2014.
All right, so they moved there and were paying their own rent.
For a couple months, yes, sir, to the beach apartment. When they moved in with us, they didn't pay rent.
My point
That
is-
was the point.
Okay, all right. So your parents moved to Oak Island and rented their own place.
For a couple months. It was a month-to-month beach rental. This was not a place they could rent long-term.
You have more knowledge about your parents' business than any person I think I have ever heard of.
Wouldn't you if they lived
Let
with
me
you?
finish.
I grew up with them, so my early life was with them, and then as an adult, they lived with me for 2 years.
At your
And-
request.
At my husband's generous offer, sir.
At your request.
It wasn't my request, I've said that.
It was your husband's generous offer.
Correct.
And you are telling us that you didn't agree?
I agreed.
Or are you just letting your husband run the household?
No, sir. If you knew me, you'd know that wasn't the case.
Actually, Gio has a reputation for being very difficult, doesn't he?
No, he doesn't, sir.
Very demanding.
He's had a lot of honorable positions over the years, and we wouldn't be here if he wasn't an honorable man.
After your husband's generous offer, Karen and Jeff Spence lived with you, you said, for 2 years.
Correct.
And then you and Gio got jobs in Virginia.
Correct.
And when you moved, Jeff and Karen were still in Oak Island.
Jeff moved to Virginia before Karen because
You didn't listen to my question.
I'm listening, sir.
When you and Gio moved to Virginia, Jeff and Karen still lived on Oak Island. Yes or no?
Yes,
Okay. And they continued to live on Oak Island for a good while.
that's wrong.
Wrong in what way?
About a month after we moved to Virginia, Jeff showed up at the door, said, "Hey kids, I got a job here. Is it okay if I stay here?" So my mom continued to live on Oak Island.
For how long?
My dad very quickly moved back in with us in Virginia.
For how
For a few months before we could sell the house.
So your parents stayed, or your parents and then your mother stayed on Oak Island in the house that you were trying to sell.
My mom stayed in the house that we eventually sold.
Until Jeff showed up at your front door in Orange, Virginia, he was in Oak Island as well, right?
For about a month.
That's what I said, okay? And they were helping you out by paying your mortgage payment in the house that you were trying to sell.
So they didn't.
You didn't listen to my question.
Oh, I thought you wanted an answer.
I do want you to answer it, and basically it's a yes or no answer, and then you can explain. When you and Gio moved to Virginia, your parents stayed in your house in Oak Island and made your mortgage payment, yes or no?
No.
So you were making a mortgage payment in Oak Island and you were making a rent payment in Virginia?
Correct. And as I stated, again, Jeff was not staying in Oak Island. He was there for a month. My mom continued to stay. The last couple months, I believe it was 2 or 3 months before we sold the house, we asked for help with the mortgage payment because, again, now we had 2 mortgages again. And she was staying at the beach house. She wanted to stay at the beach house until it was sold. We said, can you guys chip in a little bit for the mortgage payment? They did not pay the whole mortgage. And again, we're talking about 2 or 3 months before it sold.
They made payments on your mortgage.
That's the only time we had to ask for help for them. And we were, again, that was in the middle of a move, career transitions. Jeff is already living with us in Virginia. And my mom is there so she can walk the dog on the beach and live in peace.
And how long before Jeff and Karen got the rental apartment in the basement on the lake in the gated community?
They moved, they got that we had moved into our cabin. We got our cabin in the summer of 2016. And they initially lived for a little while with us in that cabin, and then they found the apartment on the lake. So again, with the math, they lived with us, whether they lived in the rental with us, and they lived with us in the Oak Island house, and they lived with us in the Orange, Virginia cabin. It was 2 years before they moved to the lake.
And that's not the cabin that you were building, that was the cabin that was already built.
That was the cabin we bought for our family. Gio and I bought for our family. And again, we welcomed them into that home until we then said, hey, let's get you your own space.
So the cabin that was being built in stages was for Jeff and Karen?
Correct.
It wasn't for you and Gio?
It wasn't.
Okay. And you're being separated from your mother and father for, what, 8 years? 7 or 8 years, right?
About 7 years.
Originated with disputes over this cabin that Jeff and Karen were going to be living in.
Correct.
And Jeff and Karen were going to be paying for.
They were going to be making the mortgage payments. We had made that agreement.
That's not rocket science. It's a yes or no. They were going to be
yes, then, sir.
They were going to be making mortgage payments.
Yes.
So it was a piece of property that was being developed in their interest. Yes?
In my parents' interest? Yes, I'd say so.
Yes. And the falling out that you have had originated with that piece of property, that project, that cabin, that Jeff calls it a modular home. I don't know what a modular home is, but apparently it's a home that's built in stages. Is that right?
That's correct.
And it was going to be theirs, not yours, theirs. Yes?
It was going to be in our name because we were the ones getting the loan for it. So. But
it was going to be theirs in terms of where they would occupy private space.
They were going to live there.
That's what I just said. Occupy private space, live there, right?
Can you repeat that last part?
It was going to be their place, their private place, their home. It was going to be for them.
They were going to live there, yes.
And in the meantime, while this was being developed, Jeff and Karen didn't live in that cabin with you. They lived on a lake in a basement apartment they had found on their own. You had nothing to do with that.
That's correct.
And the falling out that has apparently caused so much, I don't know what to call it, that you feel so upset about, started over that modular home.
That was when we started to see his business side.
Well, your dad's business side, he gets things done.
I would call it con artistry, sir.
You would call it what?
Con artistry.
Your daddy would get things done, such as a well dug.
Yeah, whether it was the correct way or not.
Well, you don't know if it wasn't the correct way. Your dad got the way.
Sir, I grew up with that man. I know if it was the correct way or not.
You didn't have anything to do with getting the well done. He did that.
What he did, sir, was we had no contract in place. While Gio and I were both working a full-time job, something he's not familiar with, he had a well driller put the rig into our land with no contract, no insurance in place. I come home, and yes, sir, I was upset when I got home that day because I had a well being dug on my property, and I don't know if this guy was going to charge $2,000. I don't know if this guy was going to charge $200,000. There was no contract in place. There was just a man digging a hole in the property.
An experienced well digger who dug wells all over that neighborhood.
He didn't even have a location, sir. You couldn't even look him up. You couldn't find his license. You couldn't get him on the phone.
So it's the fact that the well got dug is beside the point to you.
That is something that still bothers me because the family that ended up moving into that home had to have a whole nother well dug.
Oh, okay.
So another young family became a victim because it wasn't done right.
Have you been keeping a diary on all this over the years?
Do you remember things about your family, sir?
I'm sorry, ma'am. I ask you.
This has changed my life, sir.
And you.
The victims that have come out of the woodwork, even living in Virginia, 2 ladies were glaring at me in Walmart, and I found out it was the 2 ladies that he was working for as a contractor on their home, and he had messed up their entire house. He had to be let go from that job, and they had to hire a whole nother contractor. So now I'm getting hate stares in Walmart in my hometown, and I don't even know why. So this is personal to me, sir, because it has affected my life, and it has affected my husband's life and our children's lives.
It's very personal to you, Ms. Aguayo, obviously, and I am absolutely overwhelmed by the detail that you can draw from years ago, as if you have been keeping a running check on your.
You're not experienced with people that have relatively good memories, sir?
When you and Gio were first moved to Virginia, your mama came after your daddy came, and y'all were all in agreement. You didn't say no, did you?
We didn't know they were doing anything wrong. Again, they had gone through bankruptcy. We thought we were trying to help.
Objection.
Who doesn't want to help their parents who are going through?
I believe this ground has been plowed thoroughly, asked and answered about why they moved in. About 15 questions about it.
I just want a yes or a no.
Ask your question anyway.
Your father moved in with you in Orange, Virginia, followed by your mother a couple of months later. And you could say no, couldn't you?
I'm sorry, sir, but I think you want a yes or no answer, but that's not phrased in the way to give you a yes or no.
Well, you didn't say no, Miss Aguayo.
They had permission to live with us. I mean, they weren't breaking into our home every night.
Thank you. They had permission. That's all I want you to say is you could say no and you didn't say
Objection,
no.
Your Honor. That is argument.
She answered the question. Move on.
And the animosity that you have exhibited since you got into this room this morning all stems from the building of that modular home and disagreements over that.
No, sir. My uncomfortableness with having to be in this courtroom is because that man over there is not even handcuffed. And you don't know what it's like to move almost every year of your life and still get text messages from Karen, your mother, saying, hey, how's Texas? Or how's that new baby granddaughter? I would not communicate back with her. It's not like I was communicating back. She was letting me know, we know where you are. We know your kids.
How do you know your mother wasn't just expressing genuine affection for you?
Because if she had genuine affection for me, sir, she would have stopped this years ago. She would have stopped this years ago. She would have said, enough is enough. If I can't change that man, I'm going to leave that man. But she's part of it. So how are you going to leave someone when you're their partner? You're their Bonnie and Clyde.
Okay. Bonnie and Clyde, your mama's Bonnie?
They would joke about it.
Oh, come on.
She would bring him contraband when he was out on work release. Like that's not Bonnie and Clyde?
Yeah, Judge, let me approach. I need
And here we thought this would be a silly old quiet trial. Here we thought there wouldn't be any fireworks to this trial. Bonnie and Clyde, Walmart. Who drank when they heard Walmart? Whew. Wow. Yeah. Mr. Hill has met his match. I thought he'd pull out some more claws, but he's just letting her go. My wrist is hurting. I'm typing so much. My wrist is actually hurting. I need the break. My left wrist is hurting so much. I'm typing so fast.
Disregard the last statement made by the witness.
You and Gio, even though the house that was being built, the modular cabin that was being built was for your parents, you and Gio wanted to control everything. Isn't that so?
If you had a $178,000 loan in your name, would you want some control?
I ask you a question that's yes or no. You and Gio wanted to control everything, yes or no?
No.
Well, that's what the falling out was about, right?
No.
That's what the meeting at McDonald's was all about, right?
No.
And your father looked at you and said, your husband can be difficult himself, can he?
I would not agree with that, sir.
Pardon me?
I would not agree with that, sir.
All right. Well, on the day that you were going to meet at McDonald's, where you did meet at McDonald's, and this all came to a head, Gio was demanding that it take place on his couch in his basement apartment, not McDonald's.
We wanted Karen to be a part of the conversation.
And Gio went to your mother and father's apartment and broke into the apartment and sat on the couch himself and demanded that Karen call Jeff and come and sit on that couch because Gio said so.
That's a lie.
That's a question. And you can answer it yes or no.
He did not. That's a no.
I think that is a lie is a no. I think that qualifies as a no.
And your mother was home in bed. You do acknowledge that your mother has serious health issues, right?
I I acknowledge she has self-diagnosed health issues when it's convenient for her. She rallies real quick when she's needed by Dad.
You're accusing your mother of being a hypochondriac?
Growing up with that woman, I know that I would disagree with her calling herself ill. We'll put it that way. I know you want me to keep it short. That woman's not ill.
You don't think that your mother's migraine headaches are real?
People have headaches, sir.
Migraine headaches?
Yes, migraine headaches. People have migraine headaches.
I didn't ask you if people had migraine headaches. Ms. Aguayo, I asked you if you disagree that your mother is a migraine sufferer.
She would have migraine headaches, yes.
And have you ever had a migraine?
She was not in bed that day. When Gio knocked on the door, she was sitting on the couch.
Really? Were you seeing from afar? How do you know?
I communicate with my husband, sir. I think most people do.
How do you know?
Now, I was, as mentioned, I was very pregnant with my son. So I didn't, because they wouldn't even, I didn't walk back into where they lived. My husband did. I'm calling my mom on the phone saying, Mom, you need to know what's going on. This affects your life too.
Let's get that down pat. You didn't walk in. Your husband did. Your husband went from the gate on the gated community through the woods, around the fence.
Oh no, so this is a gated community. There's no woods he's walking through. This is a paved road. He's walking down a road. He's knocking on a door where a family lives above them, by the way. We're not breaking into a home. We're knocking on a door, seeing a lady sitting on a couch that's supposed to be in bed with a migraine. And she's not picking up her phone when her daughter's calling her.
You weren't with him.
That's correct, sir. As I mentioned, I was about 6 or 7 months pregnant at that time. I'm not schlepping back 2 miles into a gated community because my mom can't be bothered to open the gate. Because she doesn't want to see the next mess that he's made.
So your husband walked 2 miles into a gated community where he was not invited, he was not permitted, he didn't live there, he bypassed the gate, and he walked 2 miles because he said so. That's where the meeting was supposed to take place because Gio said so.
If you can't get in touch with someone on the phone, particularly your mother-in-law, do you think that maybe you might want to go check on her and see why she's not picking up her phone?
No, not if you.
Wow.
Your mother is quite capable of making a phone call if she needs help.
I thought you just said she was very ill, sir.
Your mother is very ill.
But she doesn't need checked on?
All right, Judge. When's the last time you actually had a civil conversation with Mom or Dad?
December of 2018, I tried to have a conversation with my mom. My son was about a month at that point. They had missed all the initial baby things, and of course, with Jeff, we had a no contact order. But with my mom, I said, "Can you fix this? Can you do something so that we can be a family?"
Well,
and that didn't go well. Being a grandmother was not as important to her as continuing with Jeff, and I'll be careful how I phrase it.
So you didn't want to have anything to do with your mother because she loved her husband and saw him.
Absolutely not, sir.
Let me finish. And saw her husband as her life partner. And you wanted to rule. You and Gio always want to rule the roost, don't you?
No, sir, that's very incorrect. Who would invite someone into their home if they wanted to rule the roost? Like that's not, those aren't the kind of hearts that like, I gotta be in control of everything and I gotta be in charge. Like, you don't let people into your little circle of control if if you want to rule a roost. None of what you're saying makes sense.
Well, it was your home. Y'all had a fight over a modular home that
Objection.
Hang on a second. You got an objection?
Yes, sir. It's asked and answered. We've plowed this ground many, many
As I
times.
said earlier, let's move on.
I think I can ask you this question safely. You don't have respect for your mother, do you?
That's incorrect, sir.
You don't?
I love my parents. I love my sister. I love my family that have, like my family in Pennsylvania that I don't talk to anymore. I love them all. The love doesn't change. But getting my children and my husband out of danger's way, out of harm's way, that is more important to me than being able to pick up the phone and say, "Oh, Mama, you'll never guess what the baby did today." It's either that or I continue to put my husband and leave him with a target on his back after he's been threatened. I won't do that, sir. I love my husband. And being device in our garage where he says, after we've called the sheriff, he says, "Oh, look up along that walkway. You'll see a dead man walking. I'm coming for you, son. You don't know what you've gotten yourself into."
Jeez. All right.
It's all recorded.
Well, I've never heard it, okay?
It wasn't allowed.
You don't have any respect and love for your father either, do you?
Love? Yes. After understanding what he has done over the years and seeing what he's done, respect, no.
Let me ask you this. You have children, I've heard you refer to, yes? You have children, yes?
Yes.
Small children.
Your Honor,
I'm not comfortable talking about my kids in front.
I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love this witness. This is I'm in love with this witness. She is barking and biting right back, and I love it when a lot of times when they ask about the family and kids, a lot of times I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to give you my address. Do I have to? And she's finally saying that.
With respect to $100,000 or $1 million life insurance on your husband, do you, Ms. Aguayo, not think it's reasonable and responsible for a parent like David Hill to insure myself for my children's benefit in the event that something happens to me?
Absolutely.
Yes or no? I don't want to lecture. I want you to tell these folks whether or not you think it's reasonable.
Objection.
Just answer yes or no. You'll have
Yes.
You can explain your answer.
You think it's
Yes, I upped my life insurance policy to attend here today, sir, because I want my kids taken care of.
Well, that's a responsible parent, isn't it?
Yes, and as I mentioned, both of us had life insurance at that time. We were not going to be leaving our baby son with nothing should something happen to us. We both already had life insurance. The curious part is why they felt at that need when we started arguing to up his life insurance policy.
Well, you know, Ms. Aguayo, would it surprise you to know that I'm a grandparent and I have given the same advice to all three of my children?
Have you offered to pay for it, sir, in the middle of an argument?
Your Honor, objection. I don't think that was a question.
I'll let her respond. She had a response.
Can you rephrase it in the form of a
I
question?
think you can respond.
I ask it in a question form, Judge.
You can respond. You can say yes or no and then explain your answer.
I think the issue, Ms. Aguayo, concerning life insurance is not who pays for it, but who the beneficiary is. Would you agree?
if you feel like you're going to be able to convince your daughter that this was all an accident and then you do benefit because you move back into the cabin with your new grandbaby, then I'd say you are benefiting if that's your end term goal, sir. Get him out of the picture. This now becomes my house.
Any other questions?
Whew. All right. Unbelievable, right? This is just... She has got some serious deep wounds that she's working her way through right now. She's been holding this in for many years.
One final question, Mr. Quiet. When you bought the house, your house, on Oak Island, where you invited your parents to come stay, when you bought it, Jeff Spence gave you a $10,000 down payment, didn't he?
No, he didn't.
Jeff and Karen gave you a $10,000 down payment.
No, they didn't.
That's all I have, Judge.
All right, how long do you think we're ready to go?
Very short.
All right, let's go ahead and have a team.
You were talking about family in Pennsylvania. Who is Doug Spence?
My dad's younger brother.
Okay. Now, do you have as far as the relationship with Jeff and you and Gia, we get the picture. And I believe, but are you aware of how Jeff would communicate with Doug?
He has helped him with counsel over the years. A lot of times they use code to talk about things in our family. So like...
What do you mean by that, code?
Well, when you don't want, if you're outside and you don't want someone to overhear you, you just say, oh, well, sure do remember that time we were, fishing with Dad in his favorite fishing hole, and remember that tree he used to sit at all the time. Conversation that appears to be about a memory is not about a memory.
It's about something else.
It's letting the brother know.
Your Honor, this is not a problem.
I'm through, Your Honor.
All right, I'll agree. All right. Can this witness be finally excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you're finally excused. You're welcome to stay. You're free to go, whichever one you like to do, okay? All right, let's take about a 10 or 15 minute break. Y'all get ready, let us know. Y'all come here.
All right, I don't think I can get through all of this in 10 minutes, but I'll try. Let's get through it. All right. Again, I'm not sure if I can get through it in 10 minutes, but I will try. Okay. Miss Carolyn Aguayo. So, she got married to Giovanni. He was a Marine at the time. Her parents moved in with them in August of 2014. They were going through a bankruptcy, so they thought they could help. Meaning parents were going through a bankruptcy. And then the name Jim Riddle comes out. This is the first objection that we hear. Jim Riddle, Dad had embezzled $100,000 from his business partner. There were so many objections, I lost count. I'd say at least 15, 10 or 15. And I would say she got out way more than the defense wanted her to get out, because she let out so many things. Dad embezzled $100,000. So her parents stayed for 2 years. They had just got, so they got married. They got married in June, and they They get married in June, parents move in August. June, July, 2 months later. And I'm like, nope. I love Aaron's mom, but I was like, yep, nope. I kind of want some privacy. Thank you very much. Okay, so they weren't paying rent. They gave them a car. They bought groceries for them. And I get it. A lot of this is unsubstantiated. A lot of this is just Carolyn just going on and on and on. Trust me, I get it. But she, to me, came across as very credible. She didn't stumble. She had clear memories. She wasn't, I thought Caitlin seemed a little less sure about herself in her stories. Like she kind of tripped up a little bit. Carolyn was just like boom, 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 boom. No, this. To me, she was very, very credible. I would put more weight on her testimony than Caitlin's testimony. That's just my opinion. All right, axe to grind or not, who cares? Yeah, 100% she had an axe to grind and she let it out. She let that axe fly. All right, so let's see. Mom wasn't employed during the time. Dad didn't have a job but tried to start a vegetable farm. He got $20,000 from an investor to help start that farm. There was an objection there. So her and Gio moved to Virginia. He got mad at the Marines. Gio, and I'm like, wow, this family, there's a lot of anger in this family. And she even married into that. So what happened with Gio and the Marines? If I was the defense, I would have been like, so what's up with the Marines? Why did he who gets mad at the Marines? But I guess he did. Whatever. That's speculation. This entire testimony was a bunch of speculation. Let's see. Okay, let's see. So he went to work for the feds on the civilian side. Everyone was ready for their own space, after 2 years, and she wanted to make sure they were on good footing. So they bought 10 acres. They separated off the cabin. They bought a kit for $100,000. So the agreement was that they were going to. The agreement was they would get the loan, but the parents would pay the mortgage. So who paid for that down payment? I'd love to know who paid for that down payment. All right, so of course that was objected to. Then it was a step-by-step build, but Dad interfered because he wanted to be the general contractor. The problem was with paperwork, so Dad worked all word of mouth. Sounds like Dad was definitely he was a schmoozer, whatever you want to call him, a con man, mover and a groover, mover and a shaker. I don't know. So they had to turn everything into the bank to move forward. So if a well driller was needed, you would need a contract, and then you'd have to turn that into the bank to move forward. Pretty simple, right? Dad didn't want to do that. So then that's when they started arguing over things. They were trying to go by the book, but Dad was saying this guy has been in town for 30 years, which is really funny because Dad just moved there, but he knows that this guy's been there for 30 years. Sounds like Dad liked to hang out and just, talk to people and, work his thing. So Dad watched Breaking Bad and Blacklist, which is really funny. That was objected to. Jeff liked the dialogue, and he said, if I was ever to kill someone, I would use a shotgun because of the casings. She says normally people watch shows for entertainment, and Jeff learns from them, but he has a long conversation even with himself. He'll practice things. She says Breaking Bad, most people would watch it and be terrified. That's not normal life, but apparently Jeff enjoyed it. He would say a shotgun, it's harder to trace. Specifically said shell is huge and you're not going to look around for little casings. If you shoot them once, the casings don't come out. All right, so they had 10 acres and a gate. Jeff always tried to make money off of little things. People would then come onto the land looking for Jeff, and they didn't want to get sued if somebody got hurt. We're not protected if someone gets hurt. We get in trouble. Then at one point she goes inside and she looks out the window and Jeff and Gio are having an argument. So Jeff steps to Gio and she's like, oh man. She said, I saw that look in his eye, but he stepped back. That was objected to. This is where my husband was threatened. And the judge is like, well, this is rambling testimony to be more specific. So by the time their $100,000 loan was done, it was up to $178,000. So then Dad acquired junk. Part of not wanting to work, that of course was objected to. After the parents left, they had 3 tons of junk to move. And again, none of this is substantiated, but this is if she made up this story, she knew the facts. Like, she wasn't hesitating. She was like, I didn't think she was hesitating at all. I thought she was. If this was all made up, it's a hell of a story. So then the whole McDonald's thing. So Jeff didn't want Karen present. So they tried another sit down, and we have to go by the book or things will get messed up. So Jeff was angry, said it's not our way. She said it's not our way, it's the bank's way. So then at that point, the parents had a basement apartment. She said she saw anger in his eyes she had never seen before and how he looked at Gio. He says, I'm out, this mess is yours. So at that point, they put up surveillance, and the cord was cut. And he asked, well, how did you know? Well, they were in the house. Jeff had been told to get his stuff off the property. So he goes into the garage, walks behind the shed, cut the cord. So Gio went out to check, saw the cord was cut. Yeah, I wonder if we'll hear from Jeff. Jeff Spence was a shyster. Yeah, well, he was. So let's see. Jeff so then all this happened August of 2018. So then Jeff tells Gio he wanted to pay for $1 million life insurance on him. Normally you'd be like, oh, all right, cool. But in the heat of all of that, I'd be like, if I just had an argument with father-in-law, he had just come over, he had just cut the cord on my surveillance, and then comes up to me and says, hey, I want to buy $1 million life insurance on you. Yeah, wonder who the beneficiary is, because that's what the defense got to. So they called the sheriff after that cord was cut. So then Jeff came back and he cut the zip ties on the gate. So they called law enforcement again. She says mom was aware of what was going on. She knows Jeff would cross state lines. That was objected to. He's like, well, how would you know? Well, he would say, I made a run to Georgia. I made a run to South Carolina. Jeff would leave his cell phone with his mom, with mom, I should say. How would you know? Well, through his own mouth. He would tell me. So then at one point she walks out to her mom's car and said, we need to talk. And she wouldn't get out. So mom calls Jeff, and then she peeled out. So mom continued to text. But now for the last couple of years, they've got a no contact order out on Jeff. They had to move due to sell the house, but then they want to just get away from it all. All right, then we get to Cross. Then we get to Cross. So she moved to Oak Island. Then there's this whole thing with Oak Island. So she moved to Oak Island before she got married, but her parents were still in Pennsylvania. She didn't invite them. Her husband wanted to help them out. So when her parents moved, they were married. So she moved to Oak Island. And she kept saying, that's incorrect, sir. So her parents moved in August of 2014. So they were married in June. So her parents rented the house in February. She gets married in June, and then parents move in August. Her husband, it was a generous offer. It was not her request to move in, but she agreed. You're letting your husband run the household. Oh, yeah. She's like, that's not true. So Mr. Hill there is trying to dig into that, Oh, the man's running the house. So Gio had a reputation for being difficult. That's not true. So a month after they moved to Virginia, Jeff shows up and says, hey, kids, I got a job. Can I live here? So let's see. The dispute started over the cabin. So she started to see his business side. She's like, I wouldn't call it that. I would say I'd started to see his con artistry side. Dad would get things done, right? No. Sir, I grew up with that man, and I know how things get done correctly. So when Gio and her were working full-time jobs, which is something he's not familiar with, so then she talks about the well being drilled. She gets home, and she doesn't know if this guy's going to charge $200 or $200,000. Totally agree. I would want a contract. And even then, the contract could be broken and things could go bad. So no paperwork, I would definitely be like, no. We need paperwork. We need something signed. The driller didn't have a phone number. He didn't have a website. Sketch, right? Nothing to verify who he is. I'd want to see his license. I'd want to see if he's insured. All of that. I do not disagree with her at all. If it's true. If we can believe her, then I would want to see his license. I want to see his license number, if he's insured, all of that stuff. Then I'd call the Better Business Bureau just to make sure he's on the up and up. So then, let's see. So then family moved in. Oh yeah, then another family moved in, and they had to have a new well dug because it was so poorly done. And then Mr. Hill's like, have you been keeping a diary? She's like, this has changed my life. The victims that have come out of the woodwork. I had 2 ladies glare at me at the Walmart, woo. I'm getting hate stares, and I don't even know why. So the defense, I'm overwhelmed by the detail. She's like, you're not experienced with people that have relatively good memories, sir. Then she's like, that's not phrased in a yes or no way. And then he finally got her to say yes or no, and he's like, thank you. They had permission to move in, and then that was objected to. The animosity you have right now is from the modular home. She's like, no, that man over there is not even handcuffed. And then mom texts, hey, how's Texas? How's that grandbaby? How do you know she's not expressing genuine affection? And she says she would have stopped long ago being with Jeff. Oh, this is when she brings up Bonnie and Clyde. She would bring him contraband. Wow. So you and Gio wanted to control everything, yes or no? She's like, no. You wouldn't agree that your husband could be difficult? Meeting at McDonald's, Gio demanded it take place at his place on his couch. No, he wanted Karen to be a part of it. Gio broke into the apartment and demanded Jeff call Karen. She's like, that's a lie. And the judge is like, I think that statement, that's a lie, qualifies as a yes or no answer. So mom was then he gets into mom's health problems, and she's like, mom has self-diagnosed health. That's when it's convenient for her. Growing up with that woman, I know I would disagree with her calling herself ill. So what about did Gio knock on the door when she was sitting on the couch? Oh no, she said Gio knocked on the door when she was sitting on the couch. She's like, how do you know? Mr. Hill says, how do you know? She's like, I communicated with my husband. And then he talks about it was a gated community. He's walking through the woods. He's like, there's no woods. It's a gated community. It's concrete. You're making it sound like he's breaking and entering. She's like, I'm 6 months pregnant. I'm not schlepping 2 miles just because my mom isn't answering. All right, so when's the last time you had a civil conversation with your parents? December of 2019. I tried to talk to my mom. My parents had missed all the initial baby things with her son, and she calls and she says, Mom, can you fix this? That didn't go well. So you and Gio always wanted to rule the roost, and she says that's not correct. You don't let people into your circle of control if you want to rule the roost. That doesn't make sense. That's her coming back. Mr. Hill asked, you don't have respect for your parents? And she's like, that's not true. I love them all. But getting my children and a husband out of harm's way is more important. Jeff has, Gio has a target on him. And he's like, whoa, let's talk about that. Jeff has a target. Who put the target on Jeff's back? Who put the target on Gio's back? And she said, Jeff. So then there's the 1 million life insurance. So there's a recording of Jeff talking about dead man walking. Mr. Hill says, I've never heard that recording. And she looks over at the judge and she says, it's not allowed. So there's stuff that has not come in. There's stuff that has not come in. Woo! Man, I wish we had seen some pretrial hearings. After all he's done, I don't have respect for him. She says, I'm not comfortable talking about my kids, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. I'm like, yep, don't even go there with my kids. Then the 1 million life insurance. Do you think it's reasonable for David Hill himself to insure myself in this event something happens to me? She's like, he's like, I don't want to lecture, just yes or no. And she says yes. She says, I upped my life insurance to attend here today to protect my children. Wow. The curious part is when Jeff offered it after an argument. So that's what's curious. It's not a problem that Jeff offers it. It's when he offered it. One final question: when you bought your house and invited your parents to stay, gets that in, and did Jeff give you a $10,000 payment? Did Karen give you a $10,000 payment? She's like, nope, they did not. So then on redirect, it comes out that there's a Doug family in Pennsylvania. Doug, that's Dad's younger brother. So they would use code. So Jeff and younger brother Doug would use code. Talking. So, whew, man, I gotta calm down. All right, Jersey. Witness displayed weakness. You think? You think she displayed weakness by standing up to the defense? All right. Munch says, attorney walked himself into that one. Polly is at the door. Yeah, she wants to go out. All right, you want to go out, kiddo? All right. Sparkling Princess. Jury is thinking about the fighting and not about what was the evidence. Yeah, no, it's what did this prove? This proved that she has a chip on her shoulder. This proves that Jeff does this prove that Jeff shot Kirby and killed him? No, not at all. It doesn't go anywhere near that Jeff did this to Kirby. So I absolutely no. I don't think she proved anything other than Jeff is a con man, and his character is called into question. So I will definitely agree with that. All right. Let's just stop right here with the recap, please. That's not going to become a thing. It was a misspoke. Just stop with that, please. Just stop with that. Let's not make that a thing. Nomad, this was epic. Yeah, let's see, Chris. It shows his character and he's capable. Okay, you're right. Let me retract what I just said, Chris. Yes, it shows that he's threatened before. So he's threatened a man of his daughter's. The daughter's with, right? A person, it doesn't have to be a man, but a significant other that one of his daughters is with. So he's threatened. I know, it was funny, Chris, I know, but let's not make it a thing. Let's not make it a thing. Never mess with the gingers, it's a real thing. So it shows that he is hot-tempered. It shows that he wants his way, and if he doesn't get his way, he's going to do something other than just fight, meaning words, or even a punch. You know, he's talking about dead men walking. So it does show, it would go towards his character in the sense of capable. It would go towards he's capable. Right, he's capable of doing it. If he's capable of saying, "Hey, there's a dead man walking, you better be careful," threatening, it shows that he's not afraid to do something bad in the means of shooting somebody and taking them out, versus just throwing punches or pushing or chest bumping. All right, Red Snap. This was her opportunity to blow off steam. 100%. This was her therapy. This was very cathartic for her. She was like shaking it off. He's a career criminal, JMS says. They're reporting that. Missed it before we even knew it started. Good. We're going to leave it there. We're going to leave it there. Amber, his resume reads professional con man, right? Amy Lee, hello. We need evidence. Yeah. No, I don't. You're right. There was no evidence that this. There was no direct evidence that Jeff still shot Kirby. Nothing came out that like, it wasn't like, oh, mom said this, or my sister told me. There was nothing that said that goes back to him shooting Kirby. Absolutely nothing. But what it does talk to is that he is capable of doing it because he threatened another daughter's significant other. So it goes more towards his capability versus him actually doing it, right? Let's see. How long did the break start? I don't know. Let's see. 15 minutes, 16 minutes, 20 minutes. Wow. Yeah, 20 minutes. 10 minutes. 20 minutes is the new 10 minutes in Mississippi. Ellen, final compliment on your reporting. Aw. Are you taking? Oh, you're gonna take off. All right. Have a good one, Ellen. Thank you for joining us. All right. What do you guys want as the poll? You guys are screaming for a poll. What's the poll? And so how do we know how she gets along with Caitlin? So do we know how she gets along with Caitlin? I think they get along okay. I don't think Caitlin said anything. She didn't say specifically, but I don't think Caitlin said, I don't talk to her. I don't think, I don't think either one of them said that they're okay with the other one. Or they're okay or they're not okay. I don't think either one of them said it. But all we got was fighting. Yeah. Daisy, this was so intense it made me hungry. Lauren says, yep, she was hostile. Mel, good to see you. 10 minutes, yeah, it was 20 minutes actually. Mallory, not direct evidence at all, but testimony and evidence. But testimony is evidence in itself. And Janet says, and he would use a shotgun. Yep. JMS, I think she also proved that they were broke and bankrupt. Yep, and couldn't have bought those things from Kirby. Good point. Oh, hold on, I gotta get this. All right, that was my guy calling, my pizza order. That was my pizza order. It is Friday after all, so it's Pizza Friday. All right, I got my pizza order going. All right, let's see. No, I'm good now. That was my pizza order. My hair's all a mess. I'm all frantic today. Is my audio back? It is. Yeah, that was my pizza man. I got a man. That was my pizza man. Yes. So Pizza Friday, exactly. So, all right. So I got to call him back because he knows that we stream, right? So he's all excited about that. I said, yeah, I'm streaming right now. I said I have you on. I have my mic off, so you're not. So don't worry, you're not on. But I got my pizza man. Aaron does half pepperoni. I just do cheese, and then we got a calzone. We got a vegetable calzone, manicotti, and salad. Gretchen, let's see. I'm going out during lunch break to get the last ingredient. I need to make pizza. Awesome. Tammy's having Mickey D's. Susie, I'm looking forward to Bonnie, the mom, testifying. Munch says, yep, Pizza Friday is a great weekly holiday.
Hey, call us next week.
Down at this time, the state rests.
All right. State is rested. What time is it? About 11 o'clock. You're going to need some time to get some witnesses here. Come on.
Yeah, state rests. Woo! Wow. State rests. Holy smokes. After only 7 witnesses. Where is the cell phone data? Oh, man, this is going to be really difficult. State is... Oh, hold on. Why am I so big? Because I made myself so big. All right. Wow, so the state rests. No cell phone data other than... They extracted the cell phone, but no DNA expert. Wow. That's pretty weak. I agree. Yeah. That's what? Yeah. Nanar, where's the beef? Holy mackerel. Where's the cell phone data exactly? They extracted it, but there was no data. Oh, Barry, Clyde is going to walk.
Go back to the jury room for just a little bit, okay? And we're going to bring it back out and make some decisions how we're going to proceed with the trial anyway. But I've got some stuff I got to take care of out here for a minute, okay?
Yeah, Michael, I think they said he either turned off his phone, he had it in a Faraday cage or Faraday bag, or he left it at home. So yeah, there's the cell phone data probably showed that he didn't travel. Yeah, Amanda, all hearsay. I hear you. This can be tough.
All right, I believe the defense will have a motion at this time.
I do, Judge. The state having announced that the state rests comes now the defendant, Jeffrey Spence, and respectfully moves the court to enter an order of directed verdict of not guilty. And in support of that motion, I will say the following. We're here on a murder case that happened in Tippah County, Mississippi, on or about November 30th, 2022. And the question remains after the government has had all week to put on evidence. The question still remains, who killed Kirby Carpenter? Who killed Kirby Carpenter? Could have been just about anybody in Tippah County, and we do not know, and they have not proven to the most minimal legal standard that Jeff Spence had anything to do with it. Jeff Spence has not had anybody place him in Tippah County, Mississippi on November 30th. Nobody has placed a murder weapon in his hands. They have no proof in terms of fingerprints. They have no proof in terms of any standard forensic evidence. The question remains, as I'm standing here, who killed Kirby Carpenter? I don't think the state knows. I don't think the state will ever know. And I think when I told the jury on Monday that they selected somebody to be an accused, that's exactly what we have. We have a selected accused person, and they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Jeff Spence not only is guilty, they haven't even proven that he has anything at all to do with this case. He was in Tippah County in Kirby Carpenter's home for weeks. He and his wife helping with the newborn baby. They undisputedly left Tippah County Tuesday afternoon, November 29th. Arrived home in the southwest Virginia area around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning on November 30th. We have a electronic message rendered from a conversation actually between Caitlin Spence and Karen Spence, Jeff's wife, and Caitlin's mother, at about 8 p.m. on November the 30th. The subject of that conversation is what Dad had been doing today. He's worked in the yard, he's worked inside, he's grilling hamburgers. Apparently he's good at hamburger grilling, and the next sentence from Caitlin is, well, I know how much you missed his hamburgers because they've been in Mississippi so long. The conversation is obviously about Jeff Spence, and he just got up from a nap and worked hard all day. He's fixing hamburgers for supper, for dinner, because that's in response to Caitlin's question, what are y'all having for dinner? That places. He's not cooking dinner at Kirby Carpenter's house. He's cooking dinner at his own house in Virginia. There's just nothing to tie him at the operative time here. He didn't cook dinner in Virginia around 8 o'clock and kill Kirby Carpenter at 7 o'clock. It's not possible. It's too far. It's 800 miles. 10 hours. That's the truth. Other proof is like the trash we just got through hearing from an estranged daughter full of animosity and hate. Doesn't mean that she's replacing what she's talking about is 10 years ago, not now, not 2022. And other than her, they don't have any witnesses that ties to the property, ties to the deed, ties to anything, ties to this case. It's a case that merits not going to the jury, and I'm asking the court to give us a directed verdict tonight.
All right. Not here to say.
We state submits and approve the case. Court obviously has to take this in the light most favorable to the state. And we've had testimony that contradicts everything that Mr. Hill has said, primarily through Caitlin, who had a conversation with Bob, where he admitted to her that he killed Kirby Carpenter. Not only that, but we have Kirby's property in his possession, custody, and control. And taking all the proof in light favorable to the state, with all the testimony that has occurred, the investigation, the witnesses that have taken the stand, this man stands before the court as the state has proven each and every element of the crime.
All right. Every time I have a criminal trial, I make me a checklist of what elements there must be proof of, and I've done so in this case. I think the state has made a prima facie case as to meets all those elements. They've ID'd the defendant, they've established venue, they've established that Kirby Carpenter was living, and they established that Kirby Carpenter died, and when that took place, it was a result of a shooting, and there's evidence of a robbery had been set forth, I'm going to deny your motion for a directed verdict. There's been some evidence on every element of the crime charge, and it'll be up to the jury to decide if that some evidence is enough evidence. And we will, that'll be a jury to make this determination. Do you need a minute to, y'all talk and decide how you want me to proceed as far as the defense case, okay?
We'll do so right now.
Do what?
We'll do so right now.
Y'all do that now anyway, okay? You can use my chambers if you like to.
Well, I think we have.
Wherever you want to. Y'all just
All right, so so this used to be a church, right? You can definitely see in that shot. They still have the church pews, and I think that's why it's so echoey, because it's built. It's voluminous, if you will, high ceilings and whatnot. Plus the mics are like way back here, so if their mics were up like this, it wouldn't be so echoey. All right, so asked for a directed verdict, and I agree with you. This, if ever a judge was going to throw a case out, it would be this one. But the judge says no, they met the burden. Judge says they met the burden. The state has met the burden, and it's been denied. So, yeah, thanks, lazy boys. You just never know, right? I think Brat's the one that says trials are like a box of chocolates. You just never know. I was with the update. Try again. Doctors available to give additional meds. Hang in there, Iowa. Hang in there. Hang in there. Bubbaloo, defense should rest. Boy, if ever there's I would love to see, a defendant take the stand for our series. The ego takes the stand, right? If ever, I would love to see, him take the stand. Mel says, hold on, Mel. Let me see if I can find that here. Just a minute. Okay. But did the defendant do away with another person? Well, that's allegedly. They're charging him with shooting Kirby Carpenter in 2022, and Kirby was the boyfriend and the boyfriend of Caitlin, who is the daughter to the defendant. And they had a baby girl. If you guys have any questions, go to our description. If you guys have any questions, check out our description. We have a lot of stuff in there. We have the judge's name, defense, prosecution. He's not out on bail, what he faces, all that stuff, including 1999. He was convicted in Pennsylvania for felony theft tied to the famous trophy white-tailed deer Goliath. So. He stole a deer from somebody, from a neighbor. So, Joe Schmo, good to see you. Court is like a box of Easter chocolates. You never know when one of them is going to have a black licorice jelly bean in the center of it. Right? It's amazing. Did a kitten fall or jump off the tower? I heard it. I didn't see it. I did hear it. They're like the flying Walensas. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing it. Whoever it was Sid, I guess. All right. Cindy, waiting room at doctor's. I hope everything's okay with that. Hellrider, Caitlin seemed to be hiding something too. Yeah, it came out that she knew that there was some drugs that were being sold. There was guns that were being run. Doesn't sound. Kathy, who steals a deer? Right? Kamikaze kitty.
Judge?
Yeah.
We don't need you.
Yeah, who steals a deer? Apparently he did. So he's like, he apparently has a pretty intense past. Let's see if we can find it.
Mr. Spence, these comments are directed to you, not necessarily to your attorney. At this time, the state has announced that they have rested. In other words, now it's time for the defense to put on any witnesses if they want, and those witnesses can include you. I want you to know that you have the absolute right to be sworn in, sit in the witness chair, and testify if you like to. The decision about whether you wish to testify or not testify is your decision, and your decision is alone. I would encourage you to consult with your attorney in making that decision, but if you want to testify, myself, the district attorney's office, even your own attorney cannot stop you from testifying. You have the absolute right to testify, and you can if you wish to. On the other hand, if you do not wish to testify, no one can make you testify. I can't. District Attorney's Office, your own attorney cannot force you to testify. If you do choose not to testify, the jury will be instructed that the fact that you did not testify cannot be used as any evidence whatsoever that you were guilty of any crime, because we all have the right to remain silent. But whether you choose to testify or chose not to testify does not change the fact that the state bears the burden of proving that you are guilty, and you never have to prove that you're not guilty. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Have you consulted with your attorney and reached a decision on whether you wish to testify in your own defense or not?
I did consult with my attorney.
Have you made that decision?
I have.
And what is that decision?
I do not want to testify.
All right. Mr. Hill, do you agree with y'all had a discussion on that and reached that decision?
We have discussed it more than once over the past several months, more than once today, and we are on the same page, yes, sir.
All right. All right. At this time, I'm going to bring the jury in. Do you wish to call, does the defense wish to call any witnesses?
No, sir.
All right, I'm going to let you bring the jury back in. I'm going to let you rest in front of the jury. And I think we've all agreed that we've got a lot of stuff to do on jury instructions and preparing closing arguments, and I have caught us all a little about surprised how fast we've wrapped up here today anyway. I'm going to excuse the jury until 9 o'clock Monday morning. We'll come back then, have jury instructions ready, be prepared for closing statements, and begin deliberation, okay? Let's talk about how long, let's talk about jury instructions after, let's talk about them shortly, then go to lunch, and then come up and finish jury instructions after lunch, okay? All right. Show the jury in. Having rested, it's now the defense opportunity to present witnesses if they choose to do so. Who would the defense call as its first witness?
Your Honor, at this time, I'm announcing for the defense that we rest.
All right. That means you've heard all the testimony you're going to hear in this case. Quite frankly, we're not ready for your closing arguments and jury instructions. We're going to have to, we'll spend a good bit of time getting jury instructions together and letting these people form their closing arguments. If we got that done, it'd probably be 5 or 6 o'clock this evening before you got to start deliberating. I'm not going to make you work at 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon, start your deliberation. What I'm going to do, you got...
Your Honor, just for the record, state I don't rest.
Okay. I'm going to let you go home. Be back in the jury room at 9 o'clock in the morning. Not in the morning, excuse me. He's Monday morning. I voted for tomorrow. I voted for tomorrow morning, but I got outvoted by everybody at the courthouse anyway. Somebody want to go to ball games and such as that anyway. But be back at 9 o'clock on Monday morning. Always something. I'm going to ask you to be back in the jury room at 9 o'clock Monday morning. I want you to pay special attention today. You've got a long break between now and Monday morning. Stay away from the news. Anything you see pop up on Channel 9 or Facebook or any website or meeting somebody on the street that said, I heard you had jury duty. What do you think about it? You've got to avoid it. You don't form any opinions, don't express any opinions, don't talk about the case, don't even let anybody talk about the case with you. That includes your husbands and your wives, your kids, anyone else. Don't attempt to investigate the case. Don't go home and Google anything. Don't look up any law. Just leave your mind just like it is now. Know what you know when you come back Monday. Know what you know right now and not anything else. Don't think anything. Just keep your mind, keep away from anything. And I know I can count on y'all to do that. There's 3 of you. There's alternates. I'm going to ask y'all to come back too, because if one of the original 12 were to get sick over the weekend, I need you there as backup still anyway. Y'all, I'm going to let you go out. Nobody at the jury I don't have any reason to think, suspect in any way that anybody will try to contact you about your jury service. If they do, you let the court know about it, okay? Thank y'all. See y'all Monday morning. All right. Because it's not quite. Let's spend a few minutes talking about jury instructions before we break for lunch. Anyway, the members of the audience, this isn't get real boring real fast. You're welcome to go if you like to at this time, but has both sides received the court's instructions?
Yes.
They are they're the court standards instructions been used in this district for 40 years at least. I don't know if in the court's instructions we included I think it's C7, I think, that deals with the defendant's failure to testify. If they don't, I'll include that anyway.
I don't think it was in there. I think there was only 6.
Okay.
I have a position on that jury instruction.
Okay.
And I would like for it to be reflected.
Okay.
I don't want that.
Okay, you don't get it. You don't. That's always that option. If you if you don't want it, you don't get it, and it's some different attorneys have different theories on that. And I think both of them are legitimate arguments anyway.
There's a provision in one of the state's instructions that basically covers that.
Okay. If you don't, whatever, C6 or C7 dealing with the defendant's failure to testify not being used against you, if you don't want that, we just won't offer it, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, I don't have, let me see if I got my instructions. Have been filed, I think they've been filed. I'm gonna just cut right to the chase anyway. Has anyone offered a lesser included or intend to offer any lesser included?
We did.
You did not?
I wouldn't be completely fair to my client, I guess, if I didn't.
Y'all talk. Why don't y'all spend these next few minutes? I think that's going to be the main issue. Most of our jury instructions, I think, will be fairly straightforward, and I think whether or not any lesser included are going to be offered is be the only sticking point we might have. And why don't y'all just take? Let's do this now. Let's go ahead and y'all go ahead and talk about it now if you want to. Okay. And can I get a copy of the state's instructions? Brooke probably has those. Are they here, Ms. Sanders? State's instruction and defense proposed instructions. What's that? I've got volume. I got something. I don't have the latest. Maybe I got the first volume, not the second volume. Anyway, if you go get off my desk, I'd appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, well, wherever y'all feel comfortable. Okay.
All right, we'll stick around for jury instructions and stuff, charging conference, however they want to say it. We'll stick around. So if you guys want to hang with us, cool. If you want to go out and put your toes in some water, it's a Friday afternoon after all. For some of us, that's cool too. But we'll hang here. So I put up a poll. Has the state met their burden? Yes, Jeff is guilty as charged. No, Jeff should be set free, I should say. So far, we've got 47% think the state met their burden. 53% think Jeff should be set free. So I was doing some research because it doesn't say exactly that it's a DP, but what it's saying is that it's a capital crime. So in Mississippi, anything that's a capital, he's been charged with capital M. So that means it could be DP or it could be life without parole. So, and then also the criminal procedures, punishment in capital cases. Okay, so upon conviction, court shall conduct a separate sentence proceeding to determine whether the defendant should be sentenced to death or life imprisonment. So there's going to be separate. It's going to be separate. So it'll be a penalty phase, kind of like what we saw with Jose. All right, so upon conviction or of guilt of a defendant of capital murder or other capital offense, the court shall conduct a separate sentence proceeding to determine whether the defendant should be sentenced to death, life in prison without eligible for parole, or life imprisonment. However, the sentence of death cannot be imposed if the defendant was at least 18. Was not at least 18. Okay. Proceedings shall be conducted by the trial judge before the trial jury as soon as practical. If through impossible or inability, the trial jury is unable to reconvene, okay, blah, blah, blah. After all the evidence, the jury shall deliberate on the following matters. What significant factors existed? What significant aggravating circumstances exist as enumerated in subsection 5? Whether significant mitigating circumstances existed. Based on these considerations, whether the defendant should be sentenced to life imprisonment without eligibility for parole, or taken off this earth.
Yes, sir.
Just for the record, the defendant, Jeffrey Spence, does not request a lesser.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's, Mr. Tracy, do y'all have the court, all the instructions there?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. The court has proposed court's instructions 1 through 7, with number 6 being withdrawn, dealing with the defendant's right to not testify. Does anyone have any objections to court's instructions 1 through 7?
Not from the defense.
Not from the state.
All right, I'm going to give court's instructions 1 through 7. They're the ones we're always give, with the exception we added the 7 dealing with note-taking that tells them to rely on their own notes and not anybody else's anyway. Let's look at the state's instructions next, that being the first one being S1, which will be elements and form of the verdict instruction. I generally like to give those two together. Is S1 offered?
I'm sorry?
Is S1 offered?
Yes, sir.
Is there any objections to S1? Sets for the elements and set form of the verdict. All right, S1 will be given. S2 is appears to be elements of the crime of robbery. Is S2 offered?
Yes, sir.
Any objection to S2? No objection to S2. S2 will be given. All right. S3, I haven't read yet. Is S3 offered?
Yes, sir.
Let me. Any objection to S3?
We object to the instruction as it's drafted. It's not correct.
Tell me what the problem is anyway, and the state be getting me up some law to say why you think it is correct statement of the law. First off, let's make a decision about whether it is a correct statement of law or not, and I'll give both sides an opportunity to express what they feel of whether or not it's a correct statement of law.
Robbery can be credited, but it has got to occur first.
Well, the question basically being, if I get mad and shoot somebody and then steal their wallet, is that capital murder or not? You know, or do I go there with the intent to rob them, and then if person A and person B gets into a heated dispute and person A shoots and kills person B and he says, well, I might as well get his wallet while I'm here, is that capital murder?
I think the intent has to be there to commit the predicate offense. The intent has to be there to commit the predicate offense. And the classic example that I've defended dozens of times is John Doe goes into a convenience store or a liquor store with the intent to rob, and things go sideways, and the intent to rob then ends up with a gun grave, and there's a murder as a result. That's capital murder. Okay.
As opposed to, I go in to buy a pack of cigarettes and get into it with the store clerk and shoot him, and then decide to steal something while I'm there. I want both sides to present their arguments as to what the law is on that case. Anyway, I don't want to make that decision on the fly. Anyway, that issue has been addressed by the Mississippi Supreme Court on several occasions. I believe I know what the answer to that question is, but I want somebody to support that
this instruction in advance until Monday.
What's that now?
Are we holding this instruction in advance?
I'll give you a chance to either look at it now, but I'll give you the opportunity to address it on Monday. If you,
There is law.
there's law on it. I think it won't take me just a minute to find out, but I'll give you an opportunity. If the state wishes to address it now, I can, but I'll give you an opportunity to.
Yes.
I'd rather you not wait till Monday. If you got a case that says otherwise, get it to me sometime before Monday, okay? Send it to me before Monday, okay?
We'll decide.
Okay. I don't want to make that decision Monday morning. I'd rather both sides address the issue, and I think it is.
It's been answered.
It's
been answered.
It's been answered on many occasions, and I'm almost certain I know the answer, but I want y'all both to have an opportunity to correct me. So I'm going to hold S3 in abeyance until y'all give me a chance to rule on it. All right, so that's all the state's instructions this time.
I do believe that we'll have that.
Yeah, it was in the
What's that now?
If I have service, I think I can answer that question in about 5 minutes.
All right. Well, I'll give you an opportunity to. When I live here today, I don't want the jury be waiting Monday morning for us to still be arguing over jury instructions. If you got any, the state anticipating any further jury instructions? Let's move on to the defense instruction D1. Is D1 offered?
I'm sorry.
D1, is it offered?
Yes.
I don't know that I have defense instructions.
I can go and get you a copy right quick if y'all need another copy. We got a copy. D1 has been offered. I'll give you the opportunity to look at it and see if you've got an objection.
It's in the elements instruction that we have to prove on November 30th, 2022. Jeffrey Spence did this and that, so it's already in the elements.
I think there is there again, I think there's case law on whether an alibi instruction gets its own instruction or not anyway.
Right. So we need an opportunity to look at that.
I
That's what I say. You're probably gonna get one either. You're probably gonna get either or, but not both anyway.
I don't want both, I want one of them.
Okay, y'all compare one or two in conjunction with each other, state. I'll give you opportunity to, but I would like to. I don't want us to be arguing about it Monday morning. As long as y'all can work as much this afternoon as or tomorrow as you want to, but I want to reach the decision before Monday.
Well, we can send you support.
Y'all got send me some support anyway. But I'll be considered either D1 or D2, but not both anyway.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I will, is it okay if I send you information Sunday afternoon?
That'll be fine. That'll be fine. If y'all will send me any information y'all want on these jury questions on Sunday, I'll tell you what I'm going to do Sunday. Okay. So y'all be prepared. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's move on to D3. I'll be expecting y'all's commentary on S3, D1, and D2 before Monday, all right? Let's move on to D3 anyway. It's often offered anyway. D3 I assume is offered. What's the state's comments on D3? It is, I assume.
It's confusing, talk about reasonable doubt, more probable, the way the evidence, and that's covered in the course instructions. We
Any word in support, Mr. Hill?
Judge, I've cited
there are cases that have approved it. There are cases that says this is a classic two hypothesis case, and there are decisions, I believe, that says it's okay if the judge gives it, it's okay if the judge don't give it. I traditionally don't give it because I think it's just adding more language to the jury's decision to weigh all the evidence and decide it based on all the evidence, the totality of the evidence. And I think it's in the court's discretion to refuse or grant, and I'm going to refuse D3. while it's not error to grant it, it's also, court's opinion, it's not error to refuse it. And I just think it's just adds complication to the jury's duties anyway. All right, that brings us to D4. Any objection, D4?
It's covering the court's instructions, covering our elements instruction.
Which court instruction is it in?
To me, the D4 is very akin to, has elements of the court's instruction 6, which I'm not given, where it says not required to present evidence. When it says Jeffrey Spence is not required to present evidence or prove anything, that it's akin to the C6 anyway. So I'm not giving C6.
C3 is law within every person charged with commission of crime to be innocent.
It does have the added element of not required to present evidence or prove anything, which normally would be covered by C6, which we've withdrawn. I'm going to give D4 in lieu of C6, basically. D5.
Repetitive, cumulative, pile on, what we call it.
I'm going to put D5 up there with D1 and D2. I'm not I'm not going to give all three of those. Those are interrelated. The top half of D5 is, I think, covered by the court's instructions. But I'm dealing with the alibi. I want to see if alibi is to be treated separately other than this general burden of proof. And if so, if it is, I'll let you have one alibi instruction.
One alibi, at least one alibi instruction.
I'm going to let y'all analyze D1, D2, and D5 as a package deal and see if y'all can come up with one instruction dealing with that anyway. I'm not saying that I'm going to give an alibi instruction. I believe I will, but I think the law allows that. But I'll just give my intention to give one alibi instruction. D6.
We reject that.
It's well covered in the court's instructions.
Can't find reasonable doubt.
This is often offered.
Sorry?
This is often offered anyway. Any opinion on D6, Mr. Hill? I know it's often offered.
Well, it's a correct statement of the legal principles covered there. But it may be covered in the court's instruction.
It is covered in court's instruction. I'm gonna refuse D6. I've already covered it, and I take the opinion that don't just keep on harping on anything. Get the jury confused. All right, D7.
It's just like D3.
That's D3. That's your back to your two interpretation rule, and I traditionally do not give that. I think it's best that the jury just instruct them on what reasonable doubt is, and I traditionally don't give them. It's not required to be given, and I generally refuse them. It's just adding more layers of complication to the jury. All right, D8.
I didn't hear that. It's not the law.
And it's covered, should be covered.
Let me read it right quick.
How the jury is to evaluate the evidence.
The Supreme Court the Supreme Court did a few years back reverse 100 years of common law and say that in Mississippi you're not entitled to a circumstantial and evidence instruction anymore. This instruction had been given for the last 150 years in the state of Mississippi, but the Supreme Court has specifically said it should not be given anymore. And the
Should not
evidence,
be, or is it up to your discretion?
what's that now?
Should not be given, or is it up to your
It
discretion?
said should not be given.
So you don't have it.
I don't think I have the discretion. It is no longer a correct statement of the law in the way. I'm not going to give it anyway. Okay. As I see it, we've got issue on S3. When does basically boil down to this? When a killing takes place, can the robbery come after the killing or not? Do you have to have the intent to rob when the killing is committed?
Your Honor, that's answered in Batiste.
In what?
Batiste.
I'm familiar with Batiste, and as I said, I think I know what the answer is, but I won't give both sides an opportunity to.
Paragraph 33 of the law is that
Go ahead and make a record on that while we're here on the record now.
T stands for the proposition that the intent of robbery can be done after the murder.
Let me, have you got that handy there? I'm familiar with it. I want to refresh my memory. That's,
You got to stop it.
I've got it handy.
that Batiste case is one of the preeminent cases in criminal law in a way. I'm going to do this, Mr. Creekmore. Mr. Hill, I believe that this Baptiste case speaks as to what the law is. Unless you show me something to the contrary, I'm going to say that S3 is a correct statement of the law.
Are you giving me the Sunday afternoon?
I am. I'm going to give you the opportunity. I'm not going to require you to do it now, but
Citing Gillette, 56 Southern 3rd at 492, Batiste at that site, 121 Southern 3rd, 808, says where the evidence, the time sequence of the felony and the murder is not important as long as the evidence and its inferences demonstrate one continuous transaction.
We don't have one continuous transaction.
well, that the jury could find that there was a reasonable jury could find that there was a there's been evidence that Mr. Carpenter carried a satchel with him, and the satchel, he was dead, and the satchel and the pistol was no longer there. I think a reasonable jury could infer it. On the other side, if the jury believes that was not a continuous transaction, that's something you can argue anyway.
Yeah, that's certainly our position.
Okay, but
One's continuing transaction.
I'm going to work on the assumption that I'm going to give S3 unless you provide me something that says I shouldn't, okay?
You'll hear from me Sunday afternoon.
Okay. That leaves us with the continuing transaction on the robbery issue that Mr. Hill's going to look at. And then D1, D2, and D5. First question before y'all will be this: whether an alibi instruction should be given at all, and if so, whether it's separate and apart from just reasonable doubt, and if so, what instruction should be. And if y'all would, I'll give you Sunday to check on that anyway.
One of those three, 1, 2, and 5.
1, 2, and 5. The first baseline question is, should an alibi instruction be given at all, or is that just part of reasonable doubt that the court instruction on?
And I'm not sure that we've been put on notice that there was going to be an alibi. There was some, maybe 2 witnesses, but I haven't heard proof from either one of those individuals that have noticed to us by the defense. And
I don't.
had opportunity to examine them. So I'm not satisfied.
Y'all be prepared to argue about the alibi prior to Monday morning. Okay, send me any law you want to before Monday morning, and I'll make a decision and put on the record Monday morning. Okay. What is required? First off, is the statement that like the text message is saying Daddy's cooking hamburgers. Is that sufficient to?
I understand that, and that may go to the element that the state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that on November 30th, 2022, that he was there in Tippah County to kill Kirby Carpenter. That may be proven to argue against that element, but I don't know if it necessarily constitutes an asserted alibi.
As I stated earlier, the baseline question is whether or not the defendant can receive an alibi instruction in this case, followed by, if he is, what should that instruction be? That's your homework assignment anyway, okay?
I understand the assignment.
All right. Anything else we need? While we're here, so we'll have to do it Monday morning. If you're planning on getting up a closing argument, how long does each side want for a closing argument?
Within the same split.
What's that?
We won't use it all, we'll take an hour. He wants an hour.
Did you say an hour?
I said an hour.
All right, an hour it is each side. I'll let y'all divide it up. First half, second half can't be more than half, more than half. I'll let y'all give me some time. Y'all can get your notes together and decide how long you want.
However much time you need, I'll take the rest.
All right. Anything else before we break for today, for the week?
Not from me, Judge.
All right. Court's in recess. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I know emotions are high. We're coming to close this thing. don't do anything to mess this court proceeding up. I'm not expecting you to, but everybody just hang in there till Monday and let's get this thing over with, okay? I'm just asking you to do that, all right? All right, court being recessed until 9 o'clock Monday morning.
All right, court is in recess until Monday morning. All right, so jury instructions, basically they were kind of talking about, here, let me come here. From what I picked up on that, the main sticking points were the elements. So shooting during a robbery, that's what makes it a capital offense. So they have to prove that it was a shooting during the robbery. So that's what makes it a capital offense. Whatever arguments you have them to me before Monday morning, and it's about the text messages, about the hamburgers. You know, Dad and I or Dad's making hamburgers. And he said that's what your homework is for. That's what your homework is for the weekend, is to have anything over to me before Monday morning, and then each side gets an hour. So each side gets an hour. All right, so that's it for this stream. Our pizza's going to be here any minute, so I'm going to go eat, and then we got to figure out what we're going to do. All right, has the state met its burden? It was literally 50-50 at one point. So 156 votes, let's see, 156 votes. So it was literally 50-50 at one point, but has the state met their burden? Yes, Jeff is guilty as charged, 53%. No, Jeff should be set free, 47%. So, Shirley, thank you. Auntie, hello everyone. I came in as an ended, at least I get a squeak cap. Widespread panic. Seriously? I just got here. Yeah. Yep, they're done. Done. So is court ending? Apple. Yep, court is ended. Oh, is court day ending for you? I don't know. We'll see if we can do another stream for a couple hours, because we'll be done by like 2. Maybe we'll see. We'll come on and we'll do something from like 2 to 5. We'll see. We can get an Ego Takes the Stand. Maybe we can do a quick one. I wanted to do that tote, the Anthony tote. So maybe we can put that together. All right, we'll see. We'll see. Keith Moses starts out of Orlando on Monday. We have thank you, Cindy. October is full of everything, right? We've got Houston Danker on next Friday the 3rd. We've got Jose Soto's sentencing is on the 6th. Donna Adelson's hearing is on the 15th. Raul Valley, he starts on the 16th. Sonny Bell's sentencing is the 27th. So October is going to be crazy. So all that being said, we're going to break for lunch, and we'll probably come back. We'll probably come back. So look for us this afternoon. I'm thinking we might come back and do like a couple hours of Ego Takes the Stand or something like that. All right. You down for totes? Yeah, we'll have to see that. Chris says, if I was on this jury, I'd be the first one to ask the judge a question. Where is the evidence we need to look over, right? Sparkling Princess, yes, we do have a full plate. October is full. October is full. Nan says, let's see, very you're talking about Auntie, you go back to replay. Betty Broderick, hopefully we'll catch you all later. Yes. All right. Okay, hold on a sec. Let's see, what did... All right, you guys. Yeah, check in later. Make sure you have notifications on. If you have notifications set, you'll get an alert when we go live. Also, we post on X. I know some of you are there, some of you are not. We post on X. We post on Facebook. We post on Patreon. We post on Blue Sky. So we do post on social media, so if you want to check that out. Cindy, he's going to be, it would be a rewatch. He unalived his family and the pet dog, and he takes the stand. So, yeah, we may do that one. I got to see how long it is. Depends on how long it is. If it's like 7 or 8 hours, no. If it's like 3 or 4 hours, yeah, we might squeeze that in. All right, you guys. Again, Green Eyed Cat, thank you so much for joining our mod team. Appreciate you. It's so happy to have you on our team. So thank you, chat. Be sure you thank our mods on the way out. Leave comments in the comment section if you liked what you saw today, and make sure your notification is on. So you'll get a notification for when we go live again. So if I don't see you later, have a great weekend. Thank you for joining us. And if I do see you later, we'll talk then. So thank you to our mods. Thank you to Aaron, and thank you to chat. And I always leave you with a kitty. There's little Rikers. No, I think that's Sid. Sid is sleeping over there. Everybody else is I think that's Rikers up there. So, all right, you guys, thank you for watching, and have a great day. Have a great weekend, and we'll see if we'll pick up. I'll look and see if we can do something later today after we eat our pizza. Have a good one. Thanks for joining us. Bye.